Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto fell into hell and became its most desired demon, and got Harem, Naruto x Hazbin Hotel, part 2. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video, so let's begin the video. Naruto could see at least 5 separate groups of demons approaching from different directions. They moved with military precision, clearly professional fighters, rather than random thugs. How long until they arrive? Naruto asked, his voice shifting to a command tone. 10 minutes, maybe 15, Miss Bencha said. But there is more. I am detecting significant power signatures among them. These are not just enforcers. There are overlords leading each group. The V's, Vaggie spat. They are done playing games. Not just the V's, Alastor corrected. I recognize some of these signatures. This is a coalition. Multiple overlords have joined forces specifically to take down the hotel. Charlie's expression was determined despite the fear Naruto could see in her eyes. Then we defended. All of us together. Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder. We will. But Charlie, if things go badly, I need you to promise me something. Promise me you will retreat, get to safety. Your dream does not die if the building falls, but it does die if you do. I am not leaving you to face this alone, Charlie said firmly. You will not be, Naruto replied. But I need to know you are safe to fight at my best. Please, Charlie. After a long moment, she nodded reluctantly. Alastor's laugh cut through the tension. Well then, it seems we are in for quite the evening. Shall we prepare to greet our guests in proper fashion? As they rushed to prepare defenses and alert the residents, Naruto felt something shift inside him. This was the real test, the moment when they would discover if the hotel was strong enough to survive hell's full wrath. But looking around at Charlie, Vaggie, Alastor, and all the others willing to fight for redemption, Naruto felt something he had not felt since arriving in hell. Confidence that they could win. The night was about to become a battlefield, but Naruto Uzumaki had never backed down from a fight in his life. And his death was not going to change that. The next 10 minutes were a flurry of organized chaos. Naruto moved through the hotel with practiced efficiency, his years of combat experience taking over as he coordinated the defense. This was what he had trained for, what all those early morning sessions and late night planning meetings had been building toward. Charlie worked alongside him, evacuating non-combatant residents to the reinforced basement that Miss Penchas had constructed specifically for this scenario. The snake demon's engineering prowess was proving invaluable, her early warning systems giving them precious time to prepare. Vaggie coordinated the fighters, positioning them at strategic points throughout the building. Angel took a spot on the second floor with a collection of weapons that Naruto suspected were not entirely legal, even by Hell's standards. Husk fortified the main lobby, his wings spread and his expression more focused than Naruto had ever seen. Even Nifty had a role, her small size and speed, making her perfect for running messages between positions. Alastor stood at the main entrance, his form already beginning to shift into something more monstrous. The radio demon's power filled the air with static and the smell of old blood, a reminder that despite his cheerful demeanor, he was one of Hell's most dangerous overlords. Miss Penchas was in her element, activating defensive systems that she had been installing over the past week. Gun turrets emerged from hidden panels, energy shields flickered to life around key positions, and various traps were armed and ready. Naruto stood beside Alastor, his demon sage mode already active. The golden glow of his power mixed with the crimson light of hell, creating an aura that made nearby demons step back nervously. He had created dozens of shadow clones, positioning them throughout the hotel and the surrounding area to provide intelligence and additional firepower. 5 minutes, one of his clones reported through their shared connection. The eastern group is led by someone big, overlord level power for sure. Same with the west, another clone added. I recognize the signature. That is Zezy, the food district overlord. Naruto shared this information with Alastor, who processed it quickly. Zezy rarely gets involved in conflicts directly. For her to be here means someone offered her something substantial. The coalition against us is more organized than we anticipated. Can we win? Naruto asked bluntly. Alastor's grin widened impossibly. My dear boy, we are facing 5 overlord-led assault groups simultaneously while defending a building full of non-combatants. The odds are spectacularly against us. He turned to look at Naruto, his radio dial eyes spinning with something that might have been excitement. Which means if we do win, it will be absolutely legendary. Charlie appeared beside them, having finished the evacuation. Her demonic form was fully manifested now, horns prominent and eyes glowing red. She looked every inch the princess of hell, power radiating from her in waves that made the air shimmer. Everyone is in position, she reported. Carmilla sent a message. She cannot intervene directly without breaking her neutrality, but she has supplied us with additional weapons and ammunition. Every little bit helps, Vaggie said, joining them at the entrance. Her angelic spear glowed with holy light, a weapon that could permanently kill demons, rather than just banishing them. Where she had acquired such a thing was one of many mysteries surrounding the former exorcist. The warning alarm blared, Miss Benches's voice coming through speakers throughout the hotel. They are here. All groups arriving simultaneously. This is it. Naruto took a deep breath, centering himself. He looked at the people around him, these demons who had become his family in the short time since his arrival in hell. Whatever happened next, he was glad to be facing it with them. Remember the plan, he said, his voice calm and authoritative. We hold the lobby at all costs. If they breach the main floor, we fold back to the second level and continue the defense there. Our goal is not to kill them all, just to make the cost of victory too high for them to accept. And if they do not accept that cost, Hus called from his position. Then we make them regret ever attacking us, Naruto replied simply. The front doors exploded inward with devastating force. Demons poured through the opening, at least 30 in the first wave alone. They were heavily armed and moving with professional coordination, clearly experienced fighters rather than random thugs. Alastor met them with a laugh that echoed with static and madness. His tentacles of shadow erupted from the floor, grabbing demons and flinging them back through the entrance with bone-crushing force. His power was terrifying to behold, a reminder of why he was called the radio demon and feared throughout hell. Naruto moved like lightning, his body flicker technique carrying him into the massive attackers. His taijutsu was devastating, each strike precisely calculated to disable rather than kill. A punch to a solar plexus, a kick to a knee joint, an elbow to a temple. Demons fell around him like wheat before a scythe. Shadow clone jutsu. 20 clones appeared in bursts of smoke, immediately engaging the attackers. The coordination was perfect, the clones fighting as a single organism, covering each other's weaknesses and exploiting every opening. Charlie unleashed waves of hellfire, the flames burning with the intensity of royal demonic power. She was holding back, Naruto could tell, not wanting to kill unnecessarily. But even restrained, her power was formidable, forcing the attackers to scatter and regroup. Vaggie moved through the battle with lethal grace, her spear cutting through demonic flesh with terrifying efficiency. She protected Charlie's flanks, intercepting any demon that got too close to the princess. The first wave broke against their defense like water against stone. Within minutes, the lobby was littered with unconscious or groaning demons, none dead but all thoroughly defeated. But there was no time to celebrate. The second wave hit before they could catch their breath, this one larger and more organized. And leading it was a familiar face. Valentino strode through the ruined entrance, his moth-like features twisted in anger. Red smoke curled from his cigarette holder, forming shapes that moved with predatory intent. Behind him came at least 50 more demons, all clearly under his control. Well, Valentino purred, his voice carrying over the sounds of battle. The little hotel that thinks it can challenge the established order. How quaint. His eyes locked onto Angel, who was firing from the second floor. Angel baby, I am very disappointed in you. All this could have been avoided if you had just come back to work like a good boy. Go to hell, Val, Angel shouted back. Oh wait, we are already here. Valentino's expression darkened. Cute. I am going to enjoy breaking you all over again. But first, I think I will deal with your new friends. He gestured, and his demon surged forward. But these were not ordinary fighters. Naruto could sense something wrong with them, their movements too synchronized, their eyes glazed and unfocused. They are drugged, Charlie said, horror in her voice. He has them under some kind of chemical control. Valentino's specialty, Vaggie spat. He pumps them full of his special blend, makes them mindless and obedient. They will fight until they literally cannot move anymore. This complicated things significantly. Naruto did not want to seriously harm demons who were not in control of their actions. But they were coming with lethal intent, and he could not afford to hold back too much. He formed the hand seals quickly. Water style, water wall. The barrier of water erupted from the floor, temporarily blocking the charging demons. It would not hold long, but it gave them a moment to regroup. Alastor, can you handle Valentino directly? Naruto called out. With pleasure, the radio demon replied, his form growing even more monstrous. He launched himself at Valentino, tentacles and shadow, clashing with red smoke in a display of overlord-level power that shook the entire building. That left Naruto and the others to deal with the control demons. He made a decision quickly, knowing it would drain his chakra reserves, but seeing no alternative. Last shadow clone jutsu. The lobby filled with smoke as hundreds of clones appeared. Each one immediately engaged a control demon, using precise strikes to knock them unconscious without causing serious injury. It was exhausting work, requiring immense concentration to coordinate so many clones simultaneously, but it was working. Charlie and Vaggie focused on the demons breaking through from other entrances. Miss Benches's defensive systems were taking a toll on the attackers, automated turrets forcing them to take cover and slowing their advance. From his position on the second floor, Angel was providing covering fire with deadly accuracy. His multiple arms allowed him to wield several weapons simultaneously, creating a field of suppressive fire that made approaching the stairs nearly impossible. Tusk had taken to the air, his wings carrying him above the battle where he could dive bomb stragglers and isolated attackers. Despite his usual cynical demeanor, the cat demon was a fierce combatant when properly motivated. The battle raged for what felt like hours, but was probably only 20 minutes. Bodies, unconscious but alive, piled up in the lobby and surrounding areas. Naruto's clones were dispelling one by one as they completed their tasks or took too much damage, each dispellation feeding information back to him. The eastern entrance was breached, one clone reported. Zezy is coming through personally. Naruto made another split-second decision. Charlie, take command here. I need to deal with the eastern attack. Be careful, Charlie called after him, her eyes full of concern. Naruto used body flicker to traverse the hotel at superhuman speed, arriving at the eastern entrance just as Zezy broke through. The food district overlord was massive, easily 10 feet tall, with features that reminded Naruto of a hyena. She moved with surprising speed for her size, her claws leaving gouges in the walls. So you are the golden boy everyone is talking about, Zezy said, her voice a throaty growl. Let us see if you live up to the hype. She charged with shocking speed. Naruto dodged the first swipe of her claws, feeling the air pressure from the near miss. She was strong, possibly stronger physically than Crusher had been. He countered with a Rasengan, but Zezy twisted away at the last second, her combat instincts impressive. She laughed, clearly enjoying the fight. Not bad, pup. But you are going to need more than that. The hallway was too confined for large-scale techniques. Naruto needed to change the battlefield. He launched himself backwards through a window, glass shattering as he tumbled into the street outside. Zezy followed without hesitation, crashing through the wall rather than bothering with the window. They faced off in the street, the sounds of battle from inside the hotel, providing a chaotic soundtrack. Naruto activated his full Demon Sage mode, feeling the power surge through him. His appearance shifted, becoming more demonic, more feral. The golden glow intensified, and he could feel his physical capabilities increase dramatically. Zezy's grin widened. Now we are talking. Come on, golden boy. Show me what you have got. What followed was a brutal exchange of physical combat. Zezy was stronger and had more mass, but Naruto was faster and more technically skilled. They traded blows that would have shattered buildings, each hit creating shockwaves that rattled nearby structures. Naruto used a combination of taijutsu and ninjutsu, keeping Zezy off balance. Fire-style techniques forced her to dodge, while shadow clones attacked from multiple angles. But Zezy was no pushover. She had not become an overlord by being weak, and her combat experience was evident in every movement. A lucky hit caught Naruto across the ribs, Zezy's claws drawing blood. The pain was sharp and immediate, but Naruto used it, channeling it into focus. He formed hand seals even as he dodged her follow-up attack. Wind style, great breakthrough. The wind technique caught Zezy mid-charge, sending her tumbling backwards. Naruto did not give her time to recover, appearing above her with a fully formed Rasengan. Demon style, massive Rasengan. The impact cratered the street, the sheer force of the technique devastating. When the dust cleared, Zezy was down but not out, struggling to rise. You hit hard, she gasped, blood trickling from her mouth. But this is not over. She tried to stand, but Naruto was there instantly, his hand on her throat. Not squeezing, just holding, making his point clear. It is over, he said quietly. You have lost. Tell whoever hired you that the hotel is not going down without a fight that will cost them everything. Zezy stared at him for a long moment, then laughed weakly. Fine. You win this round, golden boy. But you have made powerful enemies tonight. She retreated, limping away into hell streets. Naruto let her go, knowing that killing her would only escalate things further. He rushed back inside to find the battle winding down. Valentino and Alastor were still locked in combat, their clash of powers tearing apart the lobby. But the control demons had mostly been subdued, and the other attacking groups seemed to be retreating. Naruto rejoined Charlie and Vaggie, all three of them battered and exhausted but still standing. Status report, Naruto called out. The eastern attack repelled, I dealt with Zezy personally, he announced. Western side. Held, Vaggie reported. They retreated when they saw the eastern group falling back. Northern and southern entrances are secure, Miss Pentious added through the intercom. Defensive systems took heavy damage but fulfilled their purpose. Alastor and Valentino suddenly broke apart, both overlords looking worse for wear. Valentino's usually immaculate appearance was ruined, his coat torn and his face bruised. Alastor's form was still monstrous, but Naruto could see strain in his posture. This is not over, Valentino snarled. You have made an enemy you cannot afford, princess. Then come back anytime, Charlie replied, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. We will be ready. Valentino glared at all of them before turning to leave, his remaining conscious demons following. As he reached the ruined entrance, he paused. Angel, you are mine. contract or no contract, I own you. Remember that. Then he was gone, disappearing into hell's streets. The silence that followed was deafening. For a long moment, nobody moved, the reality of what they had just survived slowly sinking in. Then Charlie started laughing. It was slightly hysterical, the sound of someone who had been terrified and was now relieved beyond measure. The laughter was contagious, spreading through the defenders until even Alastor was chuckling in his static-filled way. "We did it," Charlie said, her voice full of wonder. "We actually held them off." Naruto allowed himself to relax slightly, though he remained alert for any follow-up attacks. "We did. But this was just the first real assault. They will come back, probably with more overlords and better planning." "Let them come," Vaggie said fiercely. "We have proven we can defend ourselves." The next hour was spent on cleanup and assessment. The damage to the hotel was extensive but not catastrophic. Miss Pentious was already making lists of repairs needed and upgrades to implement. The basement residents were brought back up, many of them in awe of what the defenders had accomplished. Casualties were surprisingly light. Several residents had minor injuries, but thanks to their defensive strategy, nobody had died. The attackers had not been so lucky, though most had survived thanks to the defenders' restraint. As dawn approached, painting hell's sky in shades of deeper red, Naruto found himself back on the roof. His body ached, his chakra reserves were nearly depleted, and he had injuries that would take days to fully heal. But they had won. He was not alone for long. Charlie appeared, looking as exhausted as he felt. She settled beside him without a word, and they sat in comfortable silence, watching the city slowly come to life. "Thank you," Charlie said finally. "For everything you did tonight. We could not have won without you." "It was a team effort," Naruto replied. "Everyone fought hard." "Maybe, but you were the difference. Your strength, your leadership, your refusal to give up." She turned to look at him, her eyes soft. "You are exactly what I hoped for when I dreamed of someone who could help make redemption real." Naruto felt his face heat up, remembering the kiss from before the battle. That moment felt like it had happened in another lifetime, though it had only been a few hours. "Charlie, about before the battle, what you said, what you did," he started hesitantly. "I meant it," Charlie interrupted. "All of it. But I understand if you do not feel the same way. I know you have been focused on training and protecting us. Romance probably is not on your priority list." "It was not," Naruto admitted. "But that does not mean I do not care about you. You are important to me, Charlie. More important than I realized until tonight, when I thought I might lose you." Charlie's breath caught. "So what does that mean?" Naruto thought carefully about his answer. "It means I want to explore this, whatever this is between us. But I need to be honest. I do not know how to do relationships. My entire previous life was about being a ninja, fighting and training. I have never actually dated anyone." Charlie's smile was radiant despite her exhaustion. "That is okay. I have never dated anyone either. My position made it complicated, and most demons were either too intimidated or only interested in my status. We can figure it out together." She leaned against him, her head resting on his shoulder. "For now, can we just sit here? I am too tired to think about complicated things." "Yeah," Naruto agreed, allowing himself to relax. "We can do that." They sat together as Hell's version of dawn broke over Pentagram City, two people who had survived impossible odds and were beginning to realize they might mean more to each other than just allies in a shared cause. The moment was interrupted by Vaggie's voice from the roof access. "Sorry to interrupt, but we have visitors. Friendly ones, this time." Naruto and Charlie made their way back down to find the lobby filling with demons, but these were not attackers. News of the hotel's successful defense had spread quickly, and demons from across the Pride Ring were arriving to see for themselves. At the front of the crowd was a familiar elegant figure. Carmilla Carmine stood in the ruined entrance, surveying the damage with an approving expression. "Impressive," she said as Naruto and Charlie approached. "You faced down 5 Overlord-led groups in one. That is going to change everything in Hell's power structure." "Is that good or bad?" Charlie asked. "Both," Carmilla replied honestly. "You have proven the hotel is a legitimate force. Other overlords will have to acknowledge that. But you have also made yourselves a bigger target. The ones who see redemption as a threat will only get more aggressive." She turned to address the gathered crowd. "I want everyone here to witness what I am about to say. As of this moment, I, Carmilla Carmine, am publicly declaring my support for the Hazbin Hotel and its mission of redemption." The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. An overlord publicly supporting the hotel changed everything. "Charlie, you have something special here," Carmilla continued. "Something worth protecting and worth growing. I am offering you a formal alliance. My resources, my weapons, my political influence, all available to help your mission succeed." "Why?" Charlie asked, her voice full of wonder. "Why are you doing this?" Carmilla's expression was thoughtful. "Because I am tired of hell being a stagnant nightmare. Because I have daughters who deserve a better afterlife. And because you remind me that even here, hope is not impossible." She extended her hand to Charlie. "Do we have an alliance, Princess?" Charlie took the offered hand, her smile bright enough to light up the ruined lobby. "Yes. Yes, we do." The crowd began to cheer, demons celebrating the unlikely alliance. More stepped forward, declaring their own support for the hotel, pledging resources or simply offering to spread the word about redemption. Naruto watched it all with a sense of awe. What had started as Charlie's impossible dream was becoming a movement. The hotel was no longer just a building where demons tried to better themselves. It had become a symbol of resistance against Hell's corrupt status quo. As the celebration continued, Vox's face appeared on every screen in the Pride Ring. His expression was furious, but beneath the anger, Naruto could see something else. Fear. "Citizens of Hell," Vox's voice was tight with barely controlled rage. "Last night, a coordinated effort to shut down a dangerous element in our society was repelled through violence and trickery. The so-called Hazbin Hotel has shown its true colors as a militant organization bent on disrupting our way of life." The screens showed edited footage of the battle, making the defenders look like the aggressors. "But know this," Vox continued. "The V's will not tolerate this insurrection. We call on all loyal demons to stand against this threat. The hotel and everyone associated with it are now considered enemies of Hell's legitimate power structure." The broadcast ended, but the message was clear. The war had officially begun. Charlie looked worried, but Naruto placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We knew this was coming. We are ready for it." "Are we though?" Charlie asked quietly. "The V's are just 3 overlords. If they rally others to their cause, if they bring the full weight of Hell's power structure against us, can we really survive that?" Naruto looked around at the demons filling the lobby, at the allies they had gathered, at the movement they had started. "We are not alone anymore, Charlie. And that makes all the difference." Alastor appeared beside them, his permanent grin somehow looking satisfied. "Young Naruto is correct. You have achieved something remarkable here, dear princess. You have given demons something they have not had in millennia. Hope. And hope is the most dangerous weapon in all of Hell." The rest of the day was spent organizing their newfound support and planning for future defenses. Carmilla was true to her word, sending weapons and supplies within hours. Other demons offered various forms of assistance, from intelligence gathering to simply spreading positive word about the hotel. Miss Benchus was in heaven, or as close as a demon could get to it, with all the new resources to work with. She immediately began designing more sophisticated defense systems and fortifications. As evening approached, Naruto found himself exhausted on every level. His body ached, his chakra reserves were still recovering, and his mind was overwhelmed with everything that had happened. He retreated to his room, hoping for a few hours of actual rest. But sleep was elusive, his mind replaying the battle and thinking about what came next. The soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Opening it, he found not one visitor but several. Charlie, Vaggie, Angel, Cherry, and surprisingly, Carmilla all stood in the hallway. "Intervention Part 2, Cherry announced. "You look like death warmed over, which is saying something in Hell. We are here to make sure you actually rest." "I am fine," Naruto started. "No, you are not," Carmilla said firmly. "I have seen warriors burn themselves out before. You are running on fumes and adrenaline. That is not sustainable." They essentially forced their way into his room, making themselves comfortable. What followed was one of the more surreal experiences of Naruto's afterlife. The group talked about everything and nothing. Battle stories mixed with jokes, serious discussions about the future mixed with lighthearted teasing. Cherry regaled them with outrageous tales from her time in Hell. Angel shared stories about his work that were somehow both horrifying and hilarious. Carmilla, surprisingly, opened up about her own journey to becoming an overlord. Charlie stayed close to Naruto, their hands occasionally brushing in ways that felt deliberate. Vaggie watched them with an expression that Naruto could not quite read, something complex mixing protectiveness with what might have been resignation. Eventually, the exhaustion caught up with all of them. One by one, they dozed off where they sat, too tired to make it back to their own rooms. Naruto found himself with Charlie leaning against one shoulder and Cherry somehow sprawled across his lap, both women sleeping peacefully. Looking around at this strange collection of demons who had become his family, Naruto felt something warm settle in his chest. This was what he had been missing since his death. Not just purpose or a mission, but genuine connection with people who cared about him as more than just a weapon or a tool. He carefully extracted himself from the sleeping pile, making sure everyone was comfortable before retreating to his bed. As sleep finally claimed him, his last thought was a renewed promise. He would protect these people, this place, this impossible dream. Whatever came next, whatever forces Hell could throw at them, he would be ready. Because that was his ninja way. And nothing, not even death, could change that. The week following the battle brought changes to the Hazbin Hotel that transformed it from a hopeful experiment into something approaching a legitimate institution. Demons arrived daily, some seeking redemption, others simply wanting to be part of the movement that had successfully defied multiple overlords. The building was bursting at capacity, forcing Charlie to implement a waiting list for the first time. Naruto woke earlier than usual, his body still aching from injuries sustained during the battle. Demonic healing was faster than human healing had been, but he had taken serious damage. The slash across his ribs from Zezy's claws was still tender, and he had bruises that painted his torso in shades of purple and black. Despite the pain, he forced himself through his morning training routine. The roof had become his sanctuary, the one place where he could clear his mind and focus purely on improvement. But this morning, he found his usual spot already occupied. Carmilla Carmine sat on the edge of the roof, her legs crossed elegantly, watching the sun rise over Pentagram City. She did not turn as Naruto approached, but she acknowledged his presence with a slight nod. "You are up early," Naruto said, settling a respectful distance away. "Old habits," Carmilla replied. "I built my empire by outworking everyone else. Early mornings were part of that." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment before Carmilla spoke again. "I wanted to talk to you privately, away from the others. About what comes next." Naruto tensed slightly. "That sounds ominous." "Not ominous, just realistic." Carmilla finally turned to look at him, her golden eyes intense. "You and the princess have accomplished something remarkable. You have challenged Hell's power structure and survived. But survival is just the first step. Now comes the hard part, actually changing things." "I am listening," Naruto said. "The V's are not going to give up. Neither are the other overlords who profit from keeping sinners desperate and hopeless. They will come at you again, and next time it will not be a direct assault. They will use politics, manipulation, economic pressure, things you cannot simply fight your way through." "So what do we do?" Naruto asked. "You learn to play the game," Carmilla said bluntly. "Raw power is useful, but Hell runs on deals and alliances. You need more supporters among the overlords, demons powerful enough that attacking the hotel becomes politically impossible." "And you are offering to help with that," Naruto guessed. "I am already helping," Carmilla reminded him. "But there are limits to what I can do alone. You need to start making connections yourself, building relationships with other power players. Show them that you are not just Charlie's attack dog, but a force in your own right." The description stung slightly, but Naruto understood her point. "I am not good at politics. I have always been more of a punch first, ask questions later kind of person." Carmilla's smile was slight but genuine. "I have noticed. But you have something more valuable than political skill. You have authenticity. Demons can sense when someone is being genuine, and you are possibly the most genuine being in Hell. Use that." Before Naruto could respond, the roof access door opened and Vaggie emerged, her expression tense. "Sorry to interrupt, but we have a situation." A messenger arrived from Lucifer himself. "He wants to meet with Charlie, and he specifically requested that Naruto attend as well." "Lucifer?" Naruto repeated, his stomach dropping. "As in, the actual devil." "As in Charlie's father and the king of Hell," Vaggie confirmed. "The meeting is in 3 hours at the palace. This is not optional." Carmilla stood gracefully. "That is my cue to leave. Naruto, remember what I said. Start thinking politically, not just tactically." After Carmilla departed, Vaggie turned to Naruto with a worried expression. "I need to prepare you for this meeting. Lucifer is not like the other demons you have encountered. He is one of the most powerful beings in creation, and his moods can be unpredictable." "What is he like?" Naruto asked as they headed downstairs. Vaggie considered the question carefully. "He loves Charlie deeply, but he is also disappointed in her. He thinks the redemption project is naive and doomed to fail. Meeting with him is going to be uncomfortable at best." They found Charlie in her room, clearly stressed about the upcoming meeting. She was going through outfit options, tossing rejected clothes onto her bed with increasing frustration. "I do not know what to wear," she said when Naruto and Vaggie entered. "Do I go formal to show I am taking this seriously, or casual to show I am not intimidated? This is impossible." "Charlie, breathe," Vaggie said gently, moving to help her friend. "What you wear does not matter. Your father is going to judge the hotel on its results, not your outfit." "Easy for you to say," Charlie muttered, but she let Vaggie help her select something appropriate. 2 hours later, Naruto found himself in the back of a limousine that Carmilla had provided, riding through parts of Pentagram City he had never seen. The architecture grew more grand and imposing as they approached the center of the Pride Ring, where Lucifer's palace dominated the landscape. The palace itself was breathtaking in a terrifying way. It was massive, easily the size of a small city, with towers that pierced the red sky and walls that seemed to be made of crystallized darkness. Power radiated from it like heat from a furnace, making Naruto's demonic nature instinctively want to submit. He fought that urge, reminding himself that he bowed to no one. The interior of the palace was even more impressive. Halls stretched impossibly long, decorated with artwork that depicted the fall of Lucifer and the creation of Hell. Demons in elegant uniforms guided them through the labyrinth, their expressions carefully neutral. Finally, they were ushered into a throne room that was somehow both grand and intimate. At the far end sat Lucifer himself, and Naruto felt his breath catch. The king of hell looked surprisingly human, or at least humanoid. He was shorter than Naruto had expected, with pale skin and blonde hair that was styled similarly to Charlie's. His eyes were red with yellow sclera, and when he smiled, it was sharp and knowing. He wore a white suit with red accents, and a top hat sat at an angle on his head. But what struck Naruto most was the power. It rolled off Lucifer in waves that made the air thick and hard to breathe. This was not just an overlord or even a sin. This was something far beyond, a being that had once stood in heaven itself before choosing to fall. "Charlie," Lucifer said, his voice surprisingly warm. "It has been too long. Come, give your father a hug." Charlie rushed forward, and the two embraced. Watching them, Naruto could see genuine love between father and daughter, despite whatever tensions existed. When they separated, Lucifer's gaze shifted to Naruto, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop. So this is the demon everyone is talking about. Naruto Uzumaki, the golden warrior who defeated Crusher and held off 5 overlord groups. Naruto bowed respectfully, instinct from his training taking over. "Your Majesty." "Oh, none of that," Lucifer waved a hand dismissively. "Anyone willing to protect my daughter can call me Lucifer. Come, sit. We have much to discuss." They settled into chairs that appeared from nowhere, and refreshments materialized on a table between them. Naruto noted that despite the casual atmosphere, Lucifer's eyes never stopped evaluating him. "So, Charlie, tell me about this hotel of yours," Lucifer began. "I have been hearing fascinating reports. Apparently, you have managed to unite dozens of demons under the banner of redemption and successfully defended against a coordinated overlord assault." Charlie's expression brightened as she launched into an explanation of the hotel's progress. She talked about the residents who were genuinely trying to improve, the support they had gained from unexpected sources, and her belief that redemption was not just possible but inevitable. Lucifer listened patiently, his expression fond but skeptical. When Charlie finished, he sat back with a sigh. "Sweetheart, I admire your optimism. I really do. But you are still operating under a fundamental misunderstanding about how hell works." "What do you mean?" Charlie asked, her voice small. "Sinners are not in hell because of bad luck or unfortunate circumstances," Lucifer explained gently. "They are here because they made choices, repeatedly, that earned them damnation. The idea that they can simply decide to be better and earn redemption, it ignores the fundamental nature of sin and punishment." "But people can change," Charlie insisted. "Naruto told me stories from his world about enemies becoming friends, villains finding redemption. It is possible." Lucifer's gaze shifted to Naruto. "Is that true? Did you really redeem irredeemable enemies?" Naruto met the devil's gaze steadily. "Yes. One of my best friends had killed countless people, betrayed everyone who cared about him, and devoted himself to destroying everything I loved. But I never gave up on him. And eventually, he found his way back." "Interesting," Lucifer mused. "And how did you accomplish this miracle?" "By refusing to see him as irredeemable," Naruto said simply. "By understanding that people do terrible things when they are in pain, when they feel hopeless. By offering him a path back, even when everyone else said it was impossible." Lucifer was quiet for a long moment, studying Naruto with an intensity that was uncomfortable. "You really believe that, do not you? This is not just rhetoric or manipulation. You genuinely think anyone can be saved?" "I think everyone deserves a chance," Naruto replied. "What they do with that chance is up to them, but they should have the option." "Fascinating," Lucifer repeated. "Tell me, Naruto, what were you before you died? To have such conviction in hell suggests a remarkable past." "I was a ninja, a warrior and leader. I fought in wars, made difficult choices, and tried to bring peace to a world that had known nothing but violence for generations." "And did you succeed?" Lucifer asked. "I do not know," Naruto admitted. "I died before I could see if the peace would last. But I planted the seeds. I showed people that a different way was possible." Lucifer stood, beginning to pace. The casual atmosphere was gone, replaced with something more serious. "Here is my concern. Let us say, hypothetically, that you are correct. That sinners can be redeemed and earn their way to heaven. Do you have any idea what that would do to hell's structure?" "It would free people," Charlie said. "It would cause chaos," Lucifer corrected. "Hell's entire economy, its power structure, its very existence is built on the eternal punishment of sinners. If redemption becomes possible, if souls can leave hell, everything collapses. The overlords lose their power base. The sins lose their purpose. And I lose my kingdom." "So you are against redemption because it threatens your position," Naruto said, unable to keep a hint of accusation from his voice. Lucifer's eyes flashed dangerously, and for a moment, Naruto felt the full weight of his power. It was crushing, overwhelming, a reminder that he was talking to one of the most powerful beings in existence. Then the pressure eased, and Lucifer's expression returned to something more neutral. "I am against it because I have seen what happens when the natural order is disrupted. I fell from heaven because I questioned the system, because I thought I knew better than God himself. That rebellion led to the creation of hell and the damnation of billions of souls. He turned to face Charlie directly. I love you, Charlie. You are the best thing that has ever come from my existence. But your dream of redemption terrifies me because I have seen what happens when you try to change fundamental cosmic rules. Charlie's eyes filled with tears. So you want me to give up? To accept that nothing can ever change? No, Lucifer said softly, crossing to embrace his daughter. I want you to be careful. To understand the risks of what you are attempting. But I also know that you are too much like me to give up on something you believe in. He pulled back, looking at both Charlie and Naruto. So here is what I am going to do. I am not going to publicly support the hotel. That would cause political complications I cannot afford. But I am also not going to oppose it. Consider this neutral territory, untouchable by overlord politics. That is more than I hoped for, Charlie said, smiling through her tears. Thank you, Dad. The meeting continued for another hour, with Lucifer asking detailed questions about the hotel's operations and defenses. He seemed particularly interested in Naruto's techniques and the source of his power. You are not like other sinners, Lucifer observed. Your soul carries echoes of something else, something that predates your time in hell. What exactly did they seal inside you in your previous life? Naruto hesitated, but something about Lucifer's direct gaze demanded honesty. A nine-tailed demon fox named Kurama. We eventually became partners, friends even. His power is part of what made me strong. Lucifer's expression turned thoughtful. A demon sealed inside a human, and you learn to work together rather than letting it consume you. That explains the hybrid nature of your power. Fascinating. As the meeting wound down and they prepared to leave, Lucifer pulled Naruto aside privately. Take care of my daughter. She has a good heart, too good for hell, really. She is going to need someone strong enough to protect that heart while she tries to change the world. I will, Naruto promised. Lucifer studied him for a moment longer. I believe you will. You remind me of myself, back when I still believed in impossible things. That is both encouraging and deeply concerning. The ride back to the hotel was quiet. Charlie seemed lost in thought, processing the meeting with her father. Vaggie held her hand, providing silent support. Naruto stared out the window, watching hell's twisted landscape pass by. The meeting had given him much to think about. Lucifer's warnings about disrupting the natural order echoed concerns he himself had felt. But his conversation with the devil had also reinforced something important. Change was always frightening to those in power. That did not make it wrong. They arrived back at the hotel to find it in controlled chaos. More demons had arrived seeking sanctuary, and Miss Pentious was overseeing construction of an addition to the building to accommodate the overflow. Alastor was entertaining a group of visitors in the lobby, his radio show apparently broadcasting live from the hotel. Angel was dealing with a situation involving two residents who had gotten into a fight. Husk was at the bar, looking more harassed than usual as he tried to keep up with orders. Welcome back, Alastor called cheerfully when he spotted them. How was the meeting with dear old dad? Complicated, Charlie said. But better than I feared. He is not going to support us, but he is not going to shut us down either. The neutral king of hell, Alastor mused. That is almost as good as an endorsement in its own way. Well done, princess. The rest of the day was consumed by hotel business. Naruto found himself pulled in a dozen directions, settling disputes, training new residents in self-defense, and consulting with Miss Pentious on security upgrades. It was exhausting work, but also fulfilling in a way that surprised him. He was building something here, not just protecting it, but actively shaping its growth and direction. The evening found him back on the roof, finally getting a chance to complete his interrupted training. He was working through a new technique, trying to combine his wind release with his demonic chakra in ways that would create devastating offensive capabilities. The technique was stubborn, refusing to come together properly. Naruto formed the hand seals again, channeling chakra carefully. Wind swirled around his hand, mixing with demonic energy to create a blade of compressed air that glowed with red light. Demon style, wind blade. He slashed at a training dummy Miss Pentious had set up, and the technique cut clean through, bisecting the target. But the chakra dispersed too quickly, the blade lasting barely 2 seconds before dissipating. Not good enough, Naruto muttered. I need it to be stable, to last longer. Perhaps I can help with that, a new voice said. Naruto spun around to find a demon he did not recognize standing at the roof access. She was tall and elegant, with features that reminded him of a deer. Her eyes were kind but carried a deep sadness, and she moved with grace that suggested power held carefully in check. Who are you? Naruto asked, his guard immediately up. My name is Rosie. Wait, no, the demon corrected herself with a slight smile. I apologize, I am so used to using that name. My actual name is Eleanor, but I go by Rosie in public. I run Cannibal Town and occasionally visit to check on Alastor. Naruto remembered hearing the name. Rosie was an overlord, one of the more unusual ones, who presided over a district of demons who practiced cannibalism. But she was also known for being fair and surprisingly kind to those under her protection. "What brings you here?" Naruto asked, not relaxing his stance. "Curiosity, mostly," Rosie admitted. "I wanted to meet the demon who has everyone talking. Plus, I have some information that might interest you and the princess." She approached slowly, clearly aware of Naruto's wariness. "May I sit?" "This is not a social call exactly, but it is not a threat either." Naruto gestured to the roof edge, and they both settled down. Up close, Rosie's power was evident but not overwhelming. She was strong, certainly overlord level, but she carried it lightly. "What information?" Naruto asked. "The overlords are planning a council meeting," Rosie said. "A formal gathering of all the major power players in the Pride Ring. They are going to discuss the hotel situation and decide on a unified response." "When?" Naruto asked. 3 days from now. And here is the interesting part, they want to extend an invitation to you and Charlie. Not as supplicants, but as equals. They want to hear your case for redemption directly." "That sounds like a trap," Naruto said suspiciously. "It might be," Rosie agreed. "But it is also an opportunity. If you can convince even a few overlords to support you, or at least declare neutrality, it would change everything." "Why are you telling us this?" Naruto asked. "What do you get out of it?" Rosie's expression turned wistful. "Because I am tired, Naruto. I have been an overlord for over a century, ruling my territory, playing the political games, maintaining the status quo. It is exhausting and ultimately pointless. The idea that change might be possible, that hell might become something other than eternal suffering, that is worth supporting." She stood to leave, brushing off her dress. "Think about it. Talk to Charlie. The invitation will arrive officially tomorrow, but I wanted you to have advance warning. This meeting could be the most important thing that has happened in hell in millennia." After Rosie left, Naruto sat alone on the roof, processing this new information. An Overlord Council meeting. A chance to make their case directly to Hell's power structure. It was an incredible opportunity and an obvious potential trap. He needed to talk to Charlie, to Vaggie, to everyone. This was too big a decision to make alone. But first, he needed to finish his training. Because whatever happened at that council meeting, he needed to be ready for anything. He formed the hand seals again, channeling his chakra with renewed focus. This time, the wind blade formed perfectly, stable and deadly, glowing with demonic power. "Better," Naruto said with satisfaction. In 3 days, he would stand before the most powerful demons in hell and argue for something they viewed as impossible. The thought was terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. But if there was one thing Naruto Uzumaki had learned in his long life of fighting impossible battles, it was this. The impossible just took a little longer. And he had all of eternity to make it happen. The morning after Rosie's visit brought the official invitation, delivered by a messenger demon who looked terrified to be at the Hazbin Hotel. The envelope was made of expensive parchment, sealed with wax that bore the combined sigils of all the major overlords. Charlie opened it with trembling hands, reading the contents aloud to the assembled group. "The Council of Overlords formally requests the presence of Princess Charlotte Morningstar and Naruto Uzumaki at a gathering to discuss the matter of the Hazbin Hotel and its implications for Hell's established order. The meeting will be held in neutral territory at the Grand Hall of Purgatory. Safe passage is guaranteed by the Council's authority." "Safe passage guaranteed," Angel snorted from his position at the bar. "Because we can totally trust overlords to keep their word." "The invitation is legitimate," Alastor said, examining the wax seal carefully. "Every major overlord's mark is here. Breaking a council guarantee would have serious political consequences." "That does not mean it is not dangerous," Vaggie pointed out. "They could follow the letter of safe passage while still making the meeting itself hostile." "What do you think, Naruto?" Charlie asked, turning to him. "Should we go?" Naruto had spent most of the night thinking about exactly this question. "We go. This is the opportunity we have been waiting for, a chance to make our case directly to the people who control Hell's power structure. We would be fools to pass it up." "Even if it is a trap?" Husk asked. "Especially if it is a trap," Naruto replied. "Because it means they are taking us seriously enough to scheme. That is better than being dismissed as irrelevant." Charlie nodded slowly. "Then we prepare. We have 3 days to put together the most convincing argument for redemption that Hell has ever heard." What followed was 3 days of intensive preparation that pushed everyone at the hotel to their limits. Charlie worked on her presentation, crafting arguments that balanced emotional appeal with logical reasoning. She consulted with Vaggie, Alastor, and surprisingly, several of the hotel residents who offered their own perspectives on redemption. Naruto focused on a different kind of preparation. He trained harder than ever, pushing his demon sage mode to new limits. If the meeting did turn hostile, he needed to be ready to protect Charlie and fight their way out. But he also did something he had been avoiding. He sought out conversations with the hotel's residents, asking them about their experiences with redemption. What had motivated them to try? What changes had they noticed in themselves? What did redemption mean to them personally? The answers were varied and often surprising. Some spoke of wanting to reunite with loved ones who had made it to heaven. Others talked about being tired of the constant violence and suffering of hell. A few admitted they did not really believe redemption was possible, but the hotel offered community and purpose they had been missing. One conversation stuck with Naruto more than others. A demon named Marcus, who had died in the 1960s after a life of crime, sat with him in the hotel's library one evening. Marcus was quiet and thoughtful, very different from the loud, aggressive demons that populated most of hell. "Why are you really trying to redeem yourself?" Naruto asked. "What made you come here?" Marcus was quiet for a long time before answering. "I killed someone. In my life, I mean. It was not planned, just a robbery gone wrong, but I pulled the trigger. The man I killed, he had a daughter. She was about 7 years old." He stared at his hands as if seeing blood on them. "I have been in hell for 60 years. 60 years of thinking about that little girl growing up without a father because of me. And the worst part is, in hell, you are supposed to revel in your sins. To embrace being a monster. But I could not do it. Every time I tried, I just saw that little girl's face." Marcus looked up at Naruto, his eyes haunted. "I do not know if redemption is real. I do not know if heaven would even want someone like me. But the idea that I could change, that I could become something other than the man who destroyed a family, that is worth trying for. Even if it is impossible." Naruto felt something tighten in his chest. That is not impossible. That is exactly what redemption is supposed to be. Becoming better than you were, even when you think you do not deserve it. The conversation reinforced something Naruto had been thinking about since arriving at the hotel. Redemption was not about erasing the past or pretending terrible things had not happened. It was about choosing to be different going forward, about refusing to let your worst moments define you forever. That was a message worth fighting for. On the second day of preparation, Carmilla arrived at the hotel with an unexpected gift. She brought several formal outfits, explaining that appearance mattered at council meetings. "You need to look like you belong there, not like supplicants begging for mercy," she explained, laying out the clothes. "Power respects power, and part of power is presentation." For Charlie, she had selected an elegant red and black gown that combined the princess's usual style with a more formal, authoritative aesthetic. For Naruto, she had chosen something that blended his ninja roots with hell's fashion, an outfit that was part tactical gear, part formal wear, all in shades of black and gold that complemented his demonic coloring. "I look ridiculous," Naruto said, examining himself in a mirror. "You look dangerous and important," Carmilla corrected. "Which is exactly what you need to be. The overlords will be watching everything about you, judging whether you are a genuine threat or just an amusing novelty." She spent the next several hours coaching both Charlie and Naruto on council etiquette. Where to stand, how to address different overlords, which political landmines to avoid. It was exhausting and made Naruto's head spin, but he forced himself to absorb every detail. "One more thing," Carmilla said as she prepared to leave. "The council will have 13 overlords present. You already know some of them. Valentino, Vox, and Volvet will be hostile. Alastor would normally be there, but he has recused himself due to his involvement with the hotel. Zezy will be neutral but curious. Rosie will be quietly supportive." "What about the others?" Charlie asked. "Zezy will be hostile, you embarrassed her. There are 5 others you have not met yet, and their positions are unknown. And then there is the chairman, an overlord named Azazel, who has been in hell longer than anyone except Lucifer himself. He will be the one you need to convince most." The third day brought an unexpected visitor. Cherry Bomb arrived at the hotel with someone Naruto had not seen before. The new demon was female, with features that mixed elegance and danger in equal measure. She had long dark hair, eyes that seemed to shift colors, and moved with a grace that suggested significant power. "Naruto, Charlie, this is Verosika Mayday," Cherry announced. "She is a succubus overlord and a famous pop star. She heard about the council meeting and wanted to meet you before it happens." Verosika's smile was predatory and playful simultaneously. "I have been watching your little revolution with great interest. It is not often someone makes the V's look like fools." "What brings you here?" Charlie asked cautiously. "Curiosity, mostly," Verosika replied. "And a business proposition. If your redemption project actually works, if sinners can leave hell, that is going to cause massive upheaval in the economy. I want to position myself on the right side of that change." "You want to support us for profit," Naruto said flatly. "I want to support you because change is coming whether the old guard likes it or not," Verosika corrected. "Better to be part of the revolution than crushed by it. Plus, honestly, I find the whole thing fascinating. A demon who acts like a hero. Very sexy." The last comment was directed at Naruto with a look that made him distinctly uncomfortable. Cherry laughed at his expression. "Down girl, he is already spoken for," Cherry said, glancing meaningfully at Charlie. Charlie's face flushed. We are not, we have not actually, she stammered. Not yet, Verosika said knowingly. But you will. The tension between you two is delicious. She turned back to Naruto, her expression becoming more serious. I will be at the council meeting. I cannot promise to vote in your favor, politics is complicated, but I will not vote against you. Consider it my contribution to making hell more interesting. After Verosika left, Cherry pulled Naruto aside. Listen, I know Verosika can be a lot. She is a succubus, flirting is literally in her nature. But she is also smart and influential. Having her even neutral is a win. I am starting to feel like there are political currents here I do not fully understand, Naruto admitted. Welcome to hell, Cherry grinned. Everything is politics and sex and violence, usually all mixed together. But you are doing fine. Just keep being your ridiculously noble self. It is working. The evening before the council meeting, Charlie called one final gathering. All the hotel residents assembled in the main lobby, which had been mostly repaired from the battle damage. Miss Benches had outdone herself with the renovations, incorporating both aesthetic improvements and hidden defensive systems. Charlie stood before them, her expression nervous but determined. Tomorrow, Naruto and I are going to stand before the overlords and make our case for redemption. We are going to argue that every one of you deserves a chance to be better, to change, to potentially earn your way out of eternal damnation. She looked around at the assembled demons. I need you all to know that whatever happens tomorrow, I believe in this dream. I believe in all of you. You have already proven that change is possible by choosing to be here, by trying to be better. Angel stood up. Charlie, we all know the risks you are taking. The whole hotel does. And we want you to know that we have got your back. If the overlords try anything, they are going to have to go through all of us. The chorus of agreement rose from the assembled demons. Naruto felt warmth spread through his chest, seeing how far the hotel had come from Charlie's lonely dream to this community of people genuinely supporting each other. Marcus, the demon Naruto had spoken with, stood as well. Princess, most of us came here because we had nowhere else to go. But you gave us more than shelter. You gave us hope. Whatever happens tomorrow, thank you for that. Charlie's eyes filled with tears. She hugged several of the residents, thanking them for their support and faith. Watching her, Naruto understood why people followed her. It was not just her ideals or her royal status. It was her genuine love for people, even people the rest of creation had written off. That night, Naruto found sleep impossible. He stood on the roof, watching hell's twisted skyline and thinking about the next day. So much depended on the council meeting. If they could convince even a few overlords, it would legitimize the hotel and make future attacks politically complicated. But if they failed, if the council voted to actively oppose redemption, they might not survive the consequences. He was so lost in thought that he did not hear Charlie approach until she spoke. Could not sleep either. Naruto turned to find her standing in the doorway, still dressed in pajamas, looking young and vulnerable. Too much on my mind. Charlie joined him at the edge, sitting close enough that their shoulders touched. Are you scared? About tomorrow? Terrified, Naruto admitted. But also excited. This is what we have been working toward. A chance to actually change hell's power structure. What if we fail? Charlie asked quietly. What if I cannot convince them? What if my arguments are not good enough? Naruto took her hand, the gesture feeling natural now. Then we keep trying. We adapt our approach and try again. Failure is only permanent if you give up. You always know the right thing to say, Charlie said with a small smile. How do you do that? Years of practice saying the wrong thing first, Naruto repeated his earlier joke. You learn eventually. They sat in comfortable silence, hands clasped, watching the city below. After a while, Charlie spoke again, her voice tentative. Naruto, about what I said before the battle. About how I feel about you. I know things have been chaotic and we have not really had time to talk about it, but I wanted you to know that I meant it. All of it. Naruto felt his heart rate increase. I know. And I have been thinking about it a lot. About us, I mean. And, Charlie prompted when he did not continue. And I think I feel the same way, Naruto admitted. I care about you, Charlie. More than I realized until recently. You make me want to be better, to fight harder, to believe in impossible things. Charlie's smile was radiant even in hell's dim light. Really? Really, Naruto confirmed. But I need to be honest. I am terrible at relationships. My entire previous life was about being a ninja, about fighting and training. I have never actually been with anyone. That is okay, Charlie said. I have never been with anyone either. Royal status tends to complicate dating. We can figure it out together. She leaned closer, her intention clear. Naruto met her halfway, and they kissed properly for the first time since that interrupted moment before the battle. It was sweet and gentle, full of promise rather than demand. When they separated, both were smiling. Whatever happens tomorrow, Charlie said, I am glad you are here with me. Nowhere else I would rather be, Naruto replied honestly. They stayed on the roof until dawn, talking about everything and nothing, stealing occasional kisses, and simply enjoying each other's presence. By the time the sun rose over Pentagram City, Naruto felt more centered than he had in days. He had something to fight for beyond just survival or abstract ideals. He had someone he cared about, someone he wanted to build a future with. That was worth any amount of political scheming or overlord opposition. The morning of the council meeting arrived with oppressive heat, as if hell itself was anticipating something significant. Naruto dressed carefully in the outfit Carmilla had provided, noting how it allowed for full range of motion while looking formal. He made sure his chakra was fully restored, his techniques ready to deploy at a moment's notice. Charlie emerged from her room looking stunning and nervous in equal measure. The gown Carmilla had chosen was perfect, making her look both regal and approachable. Vaggie fussed over her, adjusting details until everything was perfect. "You look beautiful," Naruto said honestly. Charlie's cheeks colored. "Thank you. You look pretty good yourself. Very commanding." The hotel residents gathered to see them off. Alastor provided a limousine, one of his many mysterious resources. As Naruto and Charlie prepared to leave, Angel pulled Naruto's side. "Listen, golden boy, if things go south, you get Charlie out of there. Do not worry about making a scene or politics or anything else. Just get her safe." "I will," Naruto promised. "But I am planning on things going right." "Plan for the best, prepare for the worst," Angel said. "That is how you survive in hell." The ride to the Grand Hall of Purgatory took nearly an hour, carrying them to a part of the Pride Ring Naruto had never visited. The hall itself was an imposing structure, ancient and powerful, radiating an energy that felt different from the usual demonic power. This was neutral ground, enforced by magic older than most overlords. Other limousines were arriving, depositing overlords and their entourages. Naruto recognized some of them from descriptions. Zezy arrived in a carriage that looked like it belonged in Victorian England. Rosie emerged from a vehicle painted in cheerful pastels that contrasted sharply with Hell's usual aesthetic. Zezy showed up riding what looked like a massive hellhound. The V's arrived together, their limousine the most modern and ostentatious. Valentino smirked when he saw Naruto and Charlie, while Vox's screen face displayed smug confidence. Velvet was already filming everything for her social media channels. Carmilla arrived and immediately moved to stand with Naruto and Charlie, a show of public support that drew surprised looks from several other overlords. "She is with us," Charlie said quietly, grateful for the backing. As they entered the Grand Hall, Naruto felt the weight of history pressing down. This building had witnessed countless deals, betrayals, and power shifts over Hell's long existence. The walls were lined with artwork depicting famous moments in Hell's history, and the floor was inscribed with protective runes that glowed faintly. The council chamber itself was circular, with 13 thrones arranged around the perimeter. At the head sat a throne larger and more ornate than the others, clearly meant for the chairman. Overlords began taking their seats, each one a major power in Hell's hierarchy. Naruto and Charlie stood in the center of the circle, deliberately exposed and vulnerable. It was a power play, forcing them to stand while the Overlord sat, but Charlie had insisted they accepted, rather than demand equal seating. "We are here to convince them, not to assert dominance," she had argued. "Let them have the symbolic superiority if it makes them more receptive to our message." The last Overlord to arrive was clearly the chairman. Azazel was ancient, his features suggesting he had been in hell since its very creation. He was tall and impossibly thin, with skin like aged parchment and eyes that burned with primordial fire. Power rolled off him in waves that made even the other overlords shift nervously. "This council is now in session." Azazel's voice was dry as desert wind, but carried authority that demanded attention. "We are here to address the matter of the Hazbin Hotel and its mission of redemption. Princess Charlie Morningstar and Naruto Uzumaki have been invited to present their case. Afterward, the council will deliberate and vote on an official position." He turned his burning gaze to Charlie. "Princess, you may begin." Charlie stepped forward, her nervousness visible but controlled. She had notes but barely glanced at them, speaking from the heart instead. "Honorable council members, thank you for this opportunity. I know many of you view redemption as impossible, a naive fantasy that ignores the fundamental nature of hell. But I am here to argue that redemption is not only possible, but necessary for hell's continued existence." She gestured to encompass the entire chamber. Hell was created as punishment for sin, a place of eternal suffering for those who were in damnation. But what if that punishment has become perpetual without purpose? What if souls could change, could genuinely become better, but we deny them that opportunity out of tradition rather than necessity? "I have seen it happen," Charlie continued, her voice growing stronger. "Demons at my hotel who came broken and violent, who now help others and seek to better themselves. Marcus was a murderer in life, but now he volunteers to counsel new arrivals about controlling violent impulses. Sarah was an addict who now runs support groups for others struggling with similar issues. These are not isolated cases or flukes. They are proof that given the right environment and support, sinners can change. And if they can change, do they not deserve a chance at redemption? Valentino interrupted with a sneer. Princess, what you describe is behavior modification, not redemption. These demons are simply following new patterns, but their fundamental nature remains corrupt. The moment they leave your sheltered hotel, they will revert to type. That is where you are wrong, Naruto said, speaking for the first time. His voice carried clearly through the chamber. I have seen true redemption. I have witnessed people who committed unforgivable acts find genuine change, not through force or manipulation, but through choice and support. Box's screen flickered with interest. And what makes you such an expert on redemption, Mr. Uzumaki? You have been in hell for less than 4 months. You know nothing of our history or the countless failed attempts at reform. I know that every system can change, Naruto replied. I come from a world that was locked in a cycle of violence for generations. People said peace was impossible, that warriors like me were doomed to endless conflict. But we changed that system. It was not easy, and it took sacrifice, but we proved that even the deepest hatred could be overcome. Pretty speech, Zezy growled. But you are talking about living humans, not damned souls. The rules are different here. Are they? Charlie challenged. Or have we simply assumed they are because it is convenient? Because changing the system would require work and risk, and it is easier to maintain the status quo. The chamber erupted in argument. Several overlords spoke at once, some supporting Charlie's points, others vehemently disagreeing. Azazel allowed the debate to continue for several minutes before calling for order. Enough, his voice cut through the chaos like a blade. The council will now ask questions. Answer honestly and completely. What followed was an intense interrogation that lasted over 2 hours. Overlords took turns asking pointed questions about the hotel's operations, success rates, funding, and long-term goals. Charlie and Naruto answered as honestly as they could, sometimes conferring quietly before responding to particularly complex questions. Some questions were clearly hostile, designed to make them look foolish or naive. Others were genuinely curious, coming from overlords who seemed intrigued by the concept despite their skepticism. Zezy asked a question that got to the heart of the matter. Princess, let us assume for a moment that you are correct. That sinners can be redeemed and earn passage to heaven. What happens to hell's power structure when souls begin leaving? Who fills the power vacuum? How do you prevent complete societal collapse? Charlie took a deep breath before answering. I believe the transition would be gradual. Not every sinner wants redemption or would qualify for it. Many demons are comfortable with who they are and would choose to remain in hell. But those who genuinely seek change should have that option available. As for the power structure, perhaps it is time hell evolved. Perhaps instead of being purely punitive, it could become transformative. A place where souls come to confront their sins, learn from them, and choose their own path forward. Rosie spoke up, her voice gentle but firm. What the princess describes is not destruction of hell's order, but evolution of it. We have maintained the same system for millennia. Perhaps it is time to consider that change is not our enemy, but our salvation. Several overlords nodded thoughtfully. Others looked skeptical but less hostile than before. The questioning finally concluded, and Azazel called for a recess before the vote. Charlie and Naruto were escorted to a waiting room, while the overlords deliberated privately. How do you think it went? Charlie asked nervously once they were alone. Better than I expected, Naruto admitted. Some of them were actually listening, not just looking for ways to tear down our arguments. The waiting was torture. Minutes stretched like hours as they sat in the chamber, knowing that the vote happening in the next room would determine the hotel's future and possibly the future of hell itself. Finally, they were summoned back to the council chamber. The overlords had retaken their seats, their expressions giving nothing away. Azazel stood, and the chamber fell silent. The council has deliberated and voted on the matter of the Hazbin Hotel and its mission of redemption. The vote is as follows. He paused, and Naruto felt Charlie grip his hand tightly. 4 overlords vote in support of the hotel and its mission. 5 vote in opposition. 4 abstain from the vote, declaring neutrality. Charlie's face fell. A split decision meant no official support from the council. But Azazel continued. However, due to the divided nature of this vote, the council declares the following. The Hazbin Hotel will neither receive official support nor face official opposition from this body. It will be allowed to continue its operations without interference from council authority. Individual overlords may choose to support or oppose the hotel as they see fit, but the council as a whole takes no position. It is not perfect, but it was better than outright opposition. Naruto squeezed Charlie's hand, offering silent support. Furthermore, Azazel continued, the council acknowledges that the concept of redemption raises questions that merit further investigation. 1 year from today, another council session will be held to assess the hotel's progress. If genuine redemption can be demonstrated, if a sinner can be proven to have fundamentally changed and earned passage to heaven, the council will reconsider its position. That is all. This session is concluded. The overlords began to file out. Some ignored Naruto and Charlie entirely. Others offered nods of respect or encouragement. Valentino made a point of glaring at them as he passed, while Vox's screen displayed a message. "This is not over." But Carmilla approached with a genuine smile. "Well done, both of you. A neutral council position is a significant victory, even if it does not feel like one right now." Rosie joined them as well. "You planted seeds today. Ideas that will grow in the minds of demons who have never questioned the system before. That is more valuable than you realize." As they left the Grand Hall, Naruto felt exhausted but also strangely hopeful. They had not won a decisive victory, but they had survived and they had made people think. In hell, that counted as progress. The ride back to the hotel was quiet, both of them processing everything that had happened. When they finally arrived, the entire hotel was waiting anxiously. "So, what happened?" Angel asked immediately. "Did we win?" Charlie's smile was tired but genuine. "We survived. The council is not going to shut us down or actively oppose us. It is not everything I hoped for, but it is enough. We can keep working, keep proving that redemption is possible." The hotel erupted in celebration. It might not have been a total victory, but in hell, surviving was often the best you could hope for. Naruto and Charlie found themselves swept up in the celebration, residents congratulating them and expressing relief that the hotel would continue. As the party continued around them, Charlie pulled Naruto aside. "Thank you," she said softly. "For standing with me today. For believing in this dream even when it seemed impossible." "That is what partners do," Naruto replied. "And that is what we are, right? Partners in this impossible dream." Charlie's smile was radiant. "Partners," she agreed. "And maybe something more." She kissed him, not caring that half the hotel could probably see them. Naruto kissed her back, feeling something slot into place in his chest. He had found his purpose in hell. Not just to protect or fight, but to help build something that could change everything. And he had found someone to share that purpose with, someone who believed in impossible things as stubbornly as he did. Hell had tried to break him, to corrupt him, to make him into just another demon. Instead, he had become something hell had never seen before. A hero in the underworld, fighting not for glory or power, but for the simple belief that everyone deserved a second chance. And nothing, not overlords or demons or hell itself, was going to make him give up on that. His ninja way had followed him even into death. And it was going to change everything. The week following the council meeting brought an unexpected period of relative calm to the Hazbin Hotel. The neutral position declared by the overlords seemed to have created a temporary buffer, a space where the hotel could operate without constant fear of coordinated attacks. But Naruto knew better than to trust in peace that felt too convenient. He stood on the roof in the early morning darkness, going through his training routine with methodical precision. His body moved through kata that his muscles remembered from his previous life, each movement flowing into the next with practiced ease. The demonic energy that now fueled him responded differently than chakra had, wilder and more aggressive, but he was learning to harness it with increasing efficiency. "Demon style. Rasengan barrage," Naruto murmured, forming multiple spiraling spheres of crimson and black energy in rapid succession. Each one hovered in the air around him, stable and ready to deploy. This was progress. A month ago, he could barely form one stable demonic Rasengan. Now he could maintain 5 simultaneously. He launched them at training dummies Miss Penchas had reinforced specifically for his practice. The impacts were devastating, each Rasengan not just destroying its target, but leaving behind lingering demonic energy that continued to corrode the material, even after the initial explosion. "Impressive, but you are still holding back," a familiar voice said from behind him. Naruto did not need to turn to know it was Alastor. The radio demon had a habit of appearing without warning, his movement somehow bypassing Naruto's sensory abilities. It was unnerving and probably intentional. "What makes you say that?" Naruto asked, continuing his training. Alastor materialized fully, his permanent grin somehow looking more knowing than usual. "Because I can sense the reservoir of power you keep locked away. That fox demon you mentioned, the one sealed inside you in your previous life. Some echo of it remains, does it not? Merged with your demonic nature but still present, still available if you were willing to fully tap into it." Naruto finally turned to face the radio demon. "That power is dangerous. Every time I use it, I risk losing control. In my old world, there were safeguards, seals that helped me maintain balance. Here, I am not sure what would happen if I let it fully loose." Alastor's expression became thoughtful. "Yet you may not have the luxury of caution forever." The V's were quiet during the council meeting, too quiet. "They are planning something significant, I can feel it. When they move, you may need every ounce of power you possess." "I will use it if I have to," Naruto said firmly. "But I would rather find other solutions first. Power without control is just destruction." "How very noble," Alastor said, though his tone made it unclear whether he was mocking or genuinely approving. "You are an anomaly, Naruto Uzumaki. A demon who thinks like a hero. I find myself quite invested in seeing how your story unfolds." Before Naruto could respond, his communicator, a device Miss Pensius had created for the hotel security team, crackled to life. Charlie's voice came through, urgent but controlled. "Naruto, we have a situation. Can you come to my office immediately? And bring Alastor if he is with you." The trip to Charlie's office took less than a minute, Naruto using his enhanced speed to traverse the hotel, while Alastor simply melted into shadows and reformed outside her door. They entered to find Charlie, Vaggie, and surprisingly, Carmilla Carmine all present. The atmosphere was tense. "What happened?" Naruto asked immediately. Charlie gestured to her desk, where several documents were spread out. Someone leaked detailed information about the hotel's operations to the media. Guest lists, our security protocols, financial records, everything. Vox is already broadcasting it across every channel, spinning it to make us look incompetent and dangerous. Naruto picked up one of the documents, scanning it quickly. This information is accurate and recent. Whoever leaked it had access to our internal systems. "That is what concerns me most," Carmilla said, her elegant features troubled. "This was not a hacker and external breach. Someone inside the hotel provided this information to the V's. You have a traitor." The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Vaggie's hand tightened on her spear, her expression murderous. "Who? Give me a name and I will handle it personally." "We do not have a name yet," Charlie said, her voice strained. "But we need to find them quickly. If they are willing to leak information, they might be willing to do worse. Sabotage, violence against other residents, anything." Alastor's grin widened, taking on a predatory quality. "How delightful. A mystery to solve. Shall I employ my particular methods of interrogation? I assure you, I can be very persuasive when properly motivated." "No," Charlie said firmly. "We are not torturing residents to find the traitor. We will investigate properly, talk to people, look for evidence. We do this the right way." "The right way might get you killed," Vaggie pointed out. "If the traitor is working with the V's, they could be planning an attack right now while we waste time being diplomatic." Naruto held up a hand, stopping the argument before it could escalate. "We can do both. Charlie, you and Vaggie conduct official interviews with the residents, look for anyone acting suspicious. Alastor, use your network to gather information from external sources. I will use my own methods to investigate." "What methods?" Carmilla asked curiously. "Shadow clones," Naruto explained. "I can create dozens of them, each one capable of independent surveillance. They will monitor the hotel discreetly, looking for suspicious behavior or conversations. And if we are lucky, the traitor will make a move and reveal themselves." Charlie looked relieved to have a plan. "Alright. Let us do it. But everyone remember, we treat this carefully. Whoever the traitor is, they are still a resident who came here seeking redemption. We do not want to create a witch hunt atmosphere." Over the next 24 hours, the hotel transformed into something approaching a police state, though Charlie tried her best to keep it subtle. Residents were interviewed one by one, asked about their activities and any suspicious observations. Most were cooperative, shocked and angry that someone would betray the hotel. Naruto deployed 30 shadow clones throughout the building, each one assigned to specific areas or individuals. The clones were instructed to remain undetected, using transformation techniques to blend in as decorations, furniture, or shadows. It was exhausting maintaining so many clones simultaneously, but the intelligence they gathered was invaluable. For the first day, nothing concrete emerged. Everyone's stories checked out, and no one exhibited obvious signs of guilt or deception. But Naruto had been a ninja long enough to know that the best traitors were the ones who seemed most innocent. The breakthrough came on the second night of investigation. One of Naruto's clones, stationed near the building's communication systems, detected someone accessing the external network during hours when such activity was prohibited. The clone immediately alerted Naruto, who moved to intercept. What he found surprised him. The demon using the communication system was Riley, a relatively new resident who had arrived just 2 weeks before the council meeting. Riley appeared young by demon standards, with features suggesting he had died sometime in the early 2000s. He had been quiet and unassuming, exactly the kind of person who would avoid suspicion. Naruto's clone maintained its disguise, watching as Riley typed out a message on a hidden device. The content was damning, a detailed report to someone named V about the hotel's current security status and resident morale. Naruto dispelled the clone, receiving its memories instantly. He immediately contacted Charlie, Vaggie, and Alastor through the secure channel Miss Pensius had established. "I found our traitor. Riley, the demon who arrived 2 weeks ago. He is in the communications room right now, sending intel to someone called V, probably Vox. Do not confront him alone," Charlie's voice came back immediately. "We will be there in 2 minutes. Actually," Alastor's static-filled voice interrupted. "I believe young Naruto should confront Riley alone, but I will be watching from the shadows. Sometimes a private conversation yields more information than an official interrogation." Charlie hesitated but eventually agreed. "Be careful, Naruto. And do not hurt him unless you have no choice." Naruto approached the communications room quietly, using his ninja training to mask his presence. Riley was still typing, completely focused on his message, unaware that he had been discovered. Naruto opened the door casually, his expression neutral. "Hey Riley. Burning the midnight oil." Riley jumped, nearly dropping his hidden device. His face went through a rapid series of expressions, shock, fear, guilt, before settling on forced casualness. "Oh, hey Naruto. Yeah, just could not sleep. Thought I would check if there was any news from outside." "But the device that is not hotel issued," Naruto observed, his voice still calm. "Want to tell me who you have been reporting to?" Riley's facade crumbled. His shoulders slumped and genuine fear filled his eyes. "Please, you have to understand. They forced me. The V's, they have leverage on me. I did not want to betray the hotel." "What kind of leverage?" Naruto asked, genuinely curious despite the betrayal. Riley sat down heavily, looking defeated. "My sister. She is in heaven, one of the few people from my family who made it there. The V's, they have contacts, ways to send messages between hell and heaven. They said they could arrange communication between us, let me talk to her one more time. All I had to do was provide information about the hotel." Naruto felt anger war with sympathy. Riley's motivation was understandable, even if his actions were unforgivable. "You know they were lying, right? The V's do not have that kind of power. They played you." "I know," Riley said quietly. "I figured it out after the first report. But by then, they had recordings of our conversations, evidence of my spying. They said if I stopped, they would release it all, make sure everyone knew I was a traitor. I would lose my place at the hotel, the only good thing in my afterlife." "So you kept betraying us to avoid being caught betraying us," Naruto said, the irony not lost on him. "That is twisted logic even for hell." "I know," Riley repeated, his voice breaking. "I am sorry. I know sorry does not fix anything, but I am genuinely sorry." Naruto stood there for a long moment, processing the situation. Riley was a traitor, yes, but also a victim of manipulation. The question was what to do about it. Charlie, Vaggie, and Alastor materialized from various points in the hallway, having been listening the entire time. Charlie's expression was sad but determined as she entered the room. "Riley, you understand that what you did was unforgivable," she said gently. "You put everyone in this hotel at risk, betrayed people who trusted you and welcomed you." "I know, Princess," Riley said, unable to meet her eyes. "I will accept whatever punishment you decide. I deserve it." Charlie looked at Naruto, a silent question in her eyes. "What do you think we should do?" Naruto thought about it carefully. In his old world, treason was punishable by death or permanent imprisonment. But this was different. Riley had been manipulated, and his motivation, misguided as it was, came from love for his sister rather than malice. "I think he should stay," Naruto said finally, surprising everyone including Riley. "But with conditions." "What kind of conditions?" Vaggie asked suspiciously. "He works directly with Miss Pensius on security, helping to identify and patch the vulnerabilities he exploited. He undergoes daily sessions with Charlie focused specifically on trust and making better choices. And he becomes a double agent, feeding false information back to the V's through the channels they established." Alastor's laugh filled the room. "Oh, I do like how you think, my boy. Turn their own spy against them. How deliciously ironic." Charlie looked uncertain. "Naruto, that is very generous, but can we trust him after this?" "No," Naruto said bluntly, looking directly at Riley. "We cannot trust him, not yet. Trust has to be earned back. But we can give him the opportunity to earn it. That is what redemption is supposed to be about, right? Second chances even after serious mistakes." Riley's eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why would you give me another chance after what I did?" "Because someone once gave me chances I did not deserve," Naruto said simply. "And because throwing you out just gives the V's exactly what they want, proof that the hotel's ideals are hollow. We are going to prove them wrong by being better than they expect." A decision was made, though Vaggie clearly disagreed with it. Riley would remain at the hotel under strict supervision, working to undo the damage he had caused. The other residents were informed about the situation in a carefully managed meeting, where Charlie emphasized forgiveness and second chances, while also being honest about the betrayal. The reaction was mixed. Some residents were angry, feeling their trust had been violated. Others were sympathetic, understanding how the V's could manipulate someone desperate for connection with lost loved ones. A few were supportive of giving Riley another chance, seeing it as proof that the hotel's ideals were genuine. Marcus, the former murderer Naruto had spoken with before, surprised everyone by publicly supporting the decision. "If we are going to preach redemption, we have to practice it even when it is hard," he said during the meeting. "Riley screwed up bad. But he came clean and he is willing to make amends. That deserves acknowledgement." The situation with Riley, well resolved, highlighted a larger problem. The hotel was vulnerable to infiltration and manipulation. Miss Pentious immediately began implementing new security protocols, background checks for potential residents, and better monitoring of external communications. But the incident had another effect that Naruto had not anticipated. Several residents who had been holding back, maintaining emotional distance from the hotel's mission, began engaging more seriously with the redemption program. Seeing how the hotel handled betrayal with mercy rather than vengeance made them believe that genuine change might actually be possible. 3 days after the Riley incident, Charlie called Naruto to her office again. This time, the atmosphere was different, excited rather than tense. "We received a message from heaven," Charlie said, barely containing her enthusiasm. "An official message through proper channels, not some V's manipulation." "What did it say?" Naruto asked, intrigued. "Heaven's administrative council wants to send a representative to observe the hotel. They heard about the council meeting and the work we are doing. They want to see if redemption is genuinely possible." "That is huge," Naruto said, understanding the implications immediately. If heaven officially acknowledges that redemption is possible, it changes everything. "I know," Charlie was practically bouncing with excitement. "But there is more. The representative they are sending, it is someone I know. Someone who was human once and earned their way to heaven through genuine redemption. Her name is Emily, and she is a seraphim now, one of heaven's angels. But she used to be human, lived in the early 1900s, and went through her own redemption journey. If anyone would understand what we are trying to do, it is her." "When is she arriving?" Naruto asked. 3 days, Charlie said. "Which means we have 3 days to make sure the hotel is presentable, that our residents are prepared, and that we can demonstrate real progress in redemption." What followed was 3 days of organized chaos. The hotel underwent a thorough cleaning, with Nifty in her element directing an army of residents and making everything spotless. Miss Pentious installed additional systems to monitor and document resident progress. Charlie prepared detailed reports on each resident's journey, highlighting improvements and challenges. Naruto focused on training, both for himself and for select residents who wanted to demonstrate their growth. The training sessions became more structured, less about combat and more about discipline, control, and making ethical choices under pressure. Angel Dust, surprisingly, became one of the most dedicated participants. He worked with Charlie on preparing a presentation about his own journey, discussing his struggle with addiction and his complicated relationship with Valentino. "I want that Angel to see that even someone like me, someone who has done the things I have done, can try to be better," Angel explained to Naruto during one of their training sessions. "Maybe if heaven sees that, they will take this whole redemption thing seriously." The day before Emily's arrival brought unexpected visitors. Carmilla appeared with 2 younger demons who Naruto had not met before. "These are my daughters," Carmilla explained. "Clara and Adette. I wanted them to meet you and see the hotel before the heaven representative arrives." Clara and Adette were elegant like their mother, with similar features but distinct personalities. Clara was the more outgoing of the two, immediately engaging Naruto in conversation about his fighting techniques. Adette was quieter, more analytical, asking detailed questions about the hotel's operations and security. "Mother has told us about you," Clara said to Naruto. "She says you're either going to revolutionize hell or get yourself killed trying. Possibly both." "I am hoping for just the revolution part," Naruto replied with a grin. The family stayed for several hours, Carmilla discussing strategy with Charlie, while her daughters explored the hotel and talked with residents. Before they left, Carmilla pulled Naruto aside privately. "Emily's visit is more important than you realize. Heaven has been closed to the idea of redemption for millennia. If she reports back favorably, it could open doors we did not even know existed. But if she reports negatively, it could close those doors permanently." "No pressure then," Naruto said dryly. Carmilla's smile was slight but genuine. "You have handled everything else hell has thrown at you. I have faith you will handle this as well." That evening, Naruto found himself unable to sleep again. Too much was riding on the next day, too many possibilities for things to go wrong. He went to the roof, his usual sanctuary, and was unsurprised to find Charlie already there. "Could not sleep," she said as he sat beside her. "Too much on my mind," Naruto admitted. "Tomorrow could change everything." "I know," Charlie leaned against him, seeking comfort. "What if we are not ready? What if Emily sees all our flaws and reports that redemption is impossible?" "Then we keep trying anyway," Naruto said, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "We have already proven that change is possible. One angel's opinion does not change that reality." "You always know how to make me feel better," Charlie said softly. They sat in comfortable silence for a while before Charlie spoke again. "Naruto, can I ask you something personal?" "Always," Naruto replied. "Do you ever think about what comes after? If we actually succeed in making redemption real, if sinners can leave hell, what happens to us?" Naruto considered the question carefully. "Honestly, I try not to think that far ahead. But if I did, I guess I would hope we could be together. Wherever that ends up being." Charlie turned to look at him, her eyes reflecting the city lights. Even if redemption means I would have to give up being a princess. Even if it means leaving hell entirely. Especially then, Naruto said firmly. Your dream is not about maintaining power or status. It is about helping people. If you achieve that dream, the reward should be yours to claim too. Charlie kissed him, and Naruto responded eagerly. Their relationship had been developing slowly, stolen moments between crises, but it felt right. Natural. Like something that had been building since the moment they met. When they separated, Charlie's smile was radiant. Thank you. For everything. For believing in me, for protecting the hotel, for being here. Nowhere else I would rather be, Naruto repeated his usual response. They stayed on the roof until dawn, talking about everything and nothing, stealing kisses, and simply being together. By the time the sun rose over Pentagram City, Naruto felt centered and ready for whatever came next. Emily's arrival was scheduled for noon, giving everyone the morning to make final preparations. The hotel had never looked better, every surface gleaming, every resident dressed in their best, and coached on how to interact with the heavenly representative. At precisely noon, the sky above the hotel split open. Not violently, but gently, like a curtain being drawn back. Golden light spilled through the opening, warm and pure in a way that felt alien in hell's crimson atmosphere. From the light descended an angel, and Naruto's breath caught at the sight. Emily was beautiful in a way that transcended physical appearance. She radiated peace and compassion, her very presence seeming to ease the oppressive weight of hell's atmosphere. She had 6 wings of pure white, eyes that shone with inner light, and wore robes that seemed to be woven from sunlight itself. She landed gracefully in front of the hotel, her expression curious and kind. Princess Charlotte, she said, her voice like music. It is an honor to meet you. I have heard so much about your work here. Charlie stepped forward, clearly awed but managing to maintain her composure. The honor is mine, Emily. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us this chance. Emily's gaze swept over the assembled group, pausing briefly on each person before moving on. When her eyes met Naruto's, he felt something strange. Not judgment or condemnation, but recognition. As if she saw something in him that others missed. You must be Naruto Uzumaki, Emily said, approaching him directly. The demon who acts like a hero. I have been very curious to meet you. I hope I live up to the stories, Naruto said, managing a smile despite his nervousness. Emily's laugh was genuine and warm. Oh, I think you already have. Come, show me this hotel that has all of heaven and hell talking. What followed was the most intense day of Naruto's afterlife. Emily was thorough in her examination, speaking with every resident, observing group therapy sessions, and asking probing questions about the hotel's methods and results. She spent an hour with Angel Dust, discussing his struggles with addiction and his complicated feelings about his work for Valentino. Angel was surprisingly open, his usual defensive humor stripped away to reveal genuine vulnerability. She talked with Marcus about his journey from murderer to counselor, about the guilt he carried, and his hope for eventual forgiveness. Marcus broke down crying during the conversation, and Emily held his hand through it, offering comfort without judgment. She even spoke with Riley, the recent traitor, about his mistakes and his efforts to make amends. Riley was terrified, convinced that an angel would condemn him immediately. Instead, Emily listened to his story with compassion, acknowledging his wrong choices, while also recognizing his sincere remorse. Finally, after speaking with dozens of residents, Emily asked to speak privately with Naruto and Charlie. They retreated to Charlie's office, the 3 of them settling into comfortable chairs. I have seen enough, Emily began. And I want to be completely honest with both of you. What you are doing here is remarkable. Genuinely, truly remarkable. Charlie's face lit up with hope. So you will report favorably to heaven. Emily held up a hand. Let me finish. What you are doing is remarkable, but it is also incomplete. You have created an environment where demons can begin to change, can start making better choices. But change and redemption are not the same thing. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Emily's expression became thoughtful. Redemption, true redemption as heaven understands it, requires more than just behavior modification or feeling sorry for your sins. It requires genuine transformation of the soul, a fundamental change in one's nature. And that, I am sorry to say, I have not yet seen evidence of here. Charlie's face fell. So you do not think redemption is possible? I did not say that, Emily corrected gently. I said I have not seen evidence of it yet. But that does not mean it cannot happen. You have planted seeds, princess. Real, genuine seeds of change. They just need time to grow. How much time? Naruto asked. And what would proof look like? Emily considered the question carefully. I cannot give you an exact timeline. Genuine transformation takes as long as it takes. But as for proof, heaven would need to see a soul that is fundamentally changed. Not just acting better, but being better at their core. A demon whose very nature has shifted from sinful to redeemed. She looked directly at Naruto. You might be the closest thing I have seen to that. Your soul carries an unusual light, something that should not exist in a demon. But even you are not there yet. You are still holding on to anger, still carrying burdens from your past life that prevent complete transformation. Naruto felt exposed under that gaze, as if Emily could see every dark corner of his soul. What do I need to do? Forgive yourself, Emily said simply. For the people you killed, for the mistakes you made, for not being able to save everyone. Until you truly forgive yourself, you cannot be fully redeemed. The conversation continued for another hour, Emily providing detailed feedback on the hotel's programs and suggesting improvements. She was kind but honest, pointing out weaknesses while also acknowledging strengths. Before she left, Emily addressed all the assembled residents one final time. I want you all to know that I believe in what you are trying to do here. Heaven may be skeptical, and many angels will dismiss this as impossible. But I have seen the beginnings of genuine change in this hotel. Keep working, keep trying, and do not give up hope. She turned to Charlie specifically. You are your mother's daughter, princess. Lilith believed in redemption once, before the weight of ruling hell made her pragmatic. Do not lose that belief, even when it seems impossible. With that, Emily spread her wings and ascended back through the portal to heaven. The golden light faded, leaving the hotel in hell's familiar crimson glow. The residents dispersed slowly, processing Emily's visit and her words. Naruto stood with Charlie in the lobby, both of them quiet. She said we are not there yet, Charlie said softly. But we have not proven redemption is possible. She also said we have planted real seeds, Naruto reminded her. That is more than most people gave us credit for. Charlie nodded, but Naruto could see the disappointment in her eyes. He pulled her into a hug, offering wordless comfort. At night, the hotel held an informal gathering. Not a celebration, but not a wake either. Just demons coming together to support each other after an emotionally intense day. Naruto found himself in conversation with Angel, who seemed thoughtful in a way that was unusual for him. That Angel, Emily, she really saw me, Angel said quietly. Not the porn star, not Valentino's property, not even the addict. She saw the person I was before all that, the person I might be able to become again. That is what redemption is supposed to be about, Naruto said. Seeing the person beneath all the damage and mistakes. Do you really think it is possible, Angel asked. For someone like me to be redeemed? Naruto met his gaze steadily. Yes. Absolutely yes. But you have to believe it too. You have to want it badly enough to do the hard work, even when it is painful. Angel was quiet for a moment, then nodded. Alright. I am going to try. Really try, not just go through the motions. If there is even a chance I could be something better than what I am, that is worth fighting for. Similar conversations were happening throughout the hotel. Emily's visit had affected everyone differently, but almost universally, it had renewed their commitment to the redemption process. As the evening wound down and residents retired to their rooms, Naruto found himself back on the roof with Charlie. It had become their spot, the place where they could be honest with each other away from the demands of running the hotel. Emily said you needed to forgive yourself, Charlie said. Can I ask what you are holding on to? What you cannot forgive? Naruto was quiet for a long time before answering. In my world, there was a war. I fought in it, led troops, made strategic decisions. And I made a choice that resulted in the deaths of thousands of enemy soldiers. He stared at his hands as if seeing blood on them. They were soldiers, yes. They chose to fight. But they were also people, with families and lives and reasons for fighting that were just as valid as mine. I killed them because my mission required it, because protecting my village demanded it. But they haunt me. All of them. You did what you had to do, Charlie said gently. That is what war is. I know, Naruto said. Logically, I understand that. But understanding and forgiving are different things. I see their faces sometimes, in quiet moments. I wonder who they were, what they might have become if I had found another way. Charlie took his hand. Emily was right. You are carrying burdens that you should not have to carry alone. But you do not have to carry them alone. I am here. All of us are here. Naruto squeezed her hand gratefully. Thank you. For understanding, for not judging. You have never judged me, Charlie said. Why would I judge you? They sat together in comfortable silence, watching hell's twisted stars emerge in the crimson sky. After a while, Naruto spoke again. Charlie, I want to try something. Something I have been avoiding because I was scared of what it might mean. What? Charlie asked curiously. I want to try accessing the full power of Kurama, the fox demon that was sealed inside me. Emily said my soul carries unusual light. I think that light is the bond I formed with Kurama, the friendship we built. If I can fully embrace that, maybe I can take the next step toward redemption. Is it safe? Charlie asked, concern evident in her voice. Probably not, Naruto admitted. But I need to try. I need to see if I can truly merge who I was with who I have become. Will you help me? Will you be there, keep me grounded if I start to lose myself? Charlie's answer was immediate. Of course. Whatever you need. The next morning, Naruto made preparations for the attempt. He informed Alastor and Vaggie about his plan, asking them to stand by in case something went wrong. Miss Bencha set up monitoring equipment to track his energy levels and transformation. They gathered in the hotel's reinforced training room, a space Miss Bencha had specifically designed to withstand high-level demonic power. Naruto stood in the center, Charlie beside him holding his hand. "Alright," Naruto said, taking a deep breath. "Here goes nothing." He closed his eyes and turned his focus inward, seeking the reservoir of power that he had kept locked away since arriving in Hell. It was there, waiting, a massive well of energy that felt both familiar and foreign. "Kurama," Naruto called out in his mind. "I know you are there, some echo of you at least. I need your help one more time." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, deep within his consciousness, Naruto felt a response. Not words exactly, but a presence, ancient and powerful and surprisingly gentle. A voice rumbled in his mind, using Kurama's old nickname for him. "You finally stopped being stubborn." Naruto felt tears prick his eyes. "Kurama. You are really still here. Part of me, at least. The friendship we built, the bond we formed, it transcended death. When your soul was reborn as a demon, that bond came with you. But you have been keeping it locked away, afraid of what it means." "Because I did not want to lose control," Naruto admitted. "I did not want the demonic corruption to twist our bond into something dark." "Then do not let it." Kurama's presence felt warm, comforting. "You were always stronger than you gave yourself credit for. Our bond was built on mutual respect and friendship. That does not change just because the venue did. Trust yourself. Trust me." Naruto opened his eyes, which now glowed with golden light mixed with red. The transformation had begun, but it felt different from his usual demon sage mode. This was deeper, more fundamental. Energy began pouring off him in waves, visible as a golden aura mixed with demonic crimson. The room temperature spiked, and the monitoring equipment started registering power levels that made Miss Bencha gasp. The transformation continued, Naruto's appearance shifting. His demonic features became more pronounced, but instead of looking monstrous, they somehow looked noble. The horns that emerged from his temples resembled a fox's ears, and his chakra cloak manifested as 9 tails of swirling energy. This was it. The fusion of everything Naruto had been and everything he had become. Ninja and demon, human soul and fox spirit, warrior and protector, all merged into a single being. When the transformation completed, Naruto opened his eyes. They glowed with power, but the intelligence behind them was completely lucid, completely controlled. "How do you feel?" Charlie asked, still holding his hand despite the immense energy irradiating from him. Naruto's voice, when he spoke, carried a harmonic quality, as if 2 voices were speaking in perfect unison. "Whole. For the first time since arriving in Hell, I feel whole." He looked down at his transformed body, at the tails of energy swirling behind him, at the markings that covered his skin in patterns that mixed ninja seals with demonic sigils. "This is who I am now. Not just a demon, not just the memory of a ninja, but something new. Something that Hell has never seen before." Alastor's eyes were wide with genuine surprise, his permanent grin looking almost awed. "My dear boy, you have become something extraordinary. The power you are radiating, it rivals some of the sins themselves. But it is stable," Miss Bencha observed, checking her instruments. "No signs of corruption or loss of control. This is a genuine fusion, not a forced combination." Naruto released the transformation, the energy gradually fading until he stood in his normal demonic form. But he could still feel it there, ready to be called upon, a reservoir of power that was truly his to command. Charlie hugged him tightly. "I am so proud of you. You did it. You integrated both parts of yourself. With your help," Naruto reminded her. "I could not have done it without knowing you were there, keeping me grounded." Over the next several days, Naruto practiced with his new form, learning its capabilities and limits. The power was immense, easily matching anything the overlords could bring to bear. But more importantly, it felt right. Natural. Like this was who he was always meant to become. News of Naruto's transformation spread quickly through Hell's information networks. Vox broadcast speculation about what it meant, spinning various theories. Other overlords took notice, recalculating their assessments of the hotel's defenses. But the most significant response came from an unexpected source. A message arrived at the hotel, delivered by a courier demon who looked terrified to be there. The envelope bore the seal of Lucifer himself. Inside was a brief note in elegant script. "Naruto Uzumaki, you have accomplished something I thought impossible. You have created true fusion between demonic nature and something pure. I would like to meet with you privately to discuss what this means for Hell's future. Come to the palace tomorrow at sunset. Come alone." Charlie read the note with worry. "My father never summons people alone unless it is serious. What do you think he wants?" "Only one way to find out," Naruto said, though he felt apprehension curling in his gut. Tomorrow would bring another test, another challenge. But Naruto was ready. He had faced impossible odds before and won. He had died and been reborn in Hell itself and refused to be corrupted. Whatever Lucifer wanted, whatever came next, Naruto would face it the same way he had faced every other challenge. With courage, determination, and the unshakable belief that everyone deserved a chance at redemption. Even demons. Even himself. His ninja way had followed him even into death, and it was going to change hell itself. One impossible dream at a time. The day before Naruto's scheduled meeting with Lucifer passed in a blur of nervous energy and careful preparation. Despite the note's instruction to come alone, Charlie insisted on coaching him extensively about her father's tendencies, his moods, and the subtle political currents that surrounded the King of Hell. "My father is complicated," Charlie explained as they sat in her office, various notes and documents spread across her desk. "He can be warm and charming one moment, then cold and calculating the next. And he never does anything without multiple layers of purpose. If he wants to meet you privately, he has reasons beyond simple curiosity." "What do you think he wants?" Naruto asked, studying a map of the palace that Charlie had drawn from memory. "I do not know, and that worries me," Charlie admitted. "My father has been surprisingly supportive of the hotel, or at least not actively opposed to it. But you achieving that transformation, becoming something that bridges the gap between demon and something pure, that changes the equation. He might see you as a threat to the established order. Or an opportunity," Vaggie interjected from her position by the door. "Lucifer is many things, but he is not stupid. If Naruto represents a new type of power, a new way forward for hell, he will want to either control it or at least understand it." "I am not interested in being controlled," Naruto said firmly. "Then make sure he knows that, but diplomatically," Charlie advised. "My father respects strength and honesty, but he does not tolerate challenges to his authority. You need to walk a very fine line." Alastor appeared in his usual dramatic fashion, melting out of shadows in the corner of the room. "Might I offer some unsolicited advice, dear boy? Lucifer is one of the oldest and most powerful beings in creation. He has seen empires rise and fall, witnessed the birth and death of worlds. Do not try to impress him or convince him of anything. Simply be yourself, that stubborn, idealistic warrior who refuses to compromise his principles. That is what will intrigue him most." The radio demon's permanent grin somehow looked knowing. "And if things go poorly, if he decides you are a threat that needs eliminating, well, I have a contingency plan involving your shadow clones and several strategically placed exits throughout the palace." "You have been planning escape routes from Lucifer's palace?" Naruto asked, not sure whether to be impressed or concerned. "My dear boy, I have escape routes planned from everywhere," Alastor replied cheerfully. "One does not survive as long as I have without being prepared for every contingency." That evening, Naruto found himself unable to eat despite Charlie's insistence that he needed his strength. His mind was too busy running through scenarios, trying to anticipate what Lucifer might want and how to respond without compromising his principles or insulting the King of Hell. He retreated to his room early, hoping to meditate and center himself. But his thoughts kept wandering, pulled between anxiety about the meeting and reflection on how much had changed since his arrival in Hell. 4 months. He had only been in Hell for 4 months, yet it felt like years. He had gone from a confused, newly dead soul to a powerful demon who had defeated overlords, stood before the council, and achieved a transformation that apparently impressed even Lucifer himself. But more than the power or the accomplishments, what struck Naruto most was the connections he had formed. Charlie, who had become so much more than just an ally. Vaggie, whose fierce protectiveness reminded him of Sakura. Angel, whose vulnerability beneath the bravado made Naruto want to protect him. Alastor, whose motivations remained mysterious but whose support had been invaluable. And then there were the residents, dozens of demons who were genuinely trying to be better. Marcus, who counseled others despite his own guilt. Riley, who was working to rebuild trust after his betrayal. Sarah, whose struggle with addiction made her one of the hotel's most dedicated participants. These people had become his family, his reason for fighting. Whatever Lucifer wanted tomorrow, whatever tests or challenges came next, Naruto would face them for the sake of protecting this family he had built in Hell itself. The soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Opening it, he found Charlie standing there, looking uncertain. "I know you probably want to be alone to prepare, but I could not sleep and I thought maybe," she trailed off, clearly nervous. "Come in," Naruto said, stepping aside. Charlie entered and settled on the edge of his bed, her usual confidence replaced with worry. "I am scared," she admitted. "Not for myself, but for you. My father is unpredictable, and I do not know what he might do if he perceives you as a threat to his control over Hell." "I will be careful," Naruto promised, sitting beside her. "But I am not going to lie to him or pretend to be something I am not. If that makes me a threat in his eyes, then so be it." "That is what I am afraid of," Charlie said softly. "You are too honest for your own good sometimes. In Hell, honesty can get you killed. It can also earn respect," Naruto countered. "Besides, I have faced gods and demons before. I am not going to start being scared of meetings now." Charlie leaned against him, seeking comfort. "Promise me something." If my father makes you an offer that requires you to compromise who you are, turn it down. Do not sacrifice your principles for anything, not even for the hotel. I promise, Naruto said, wrapping an arm around her. But I do not think it will come to that. Your father loves you. I think he understands what the hotel means to you, even if he does not fully support it. They sat together in comfortable silence for a while before Charlie spoke again. Naruto, do you ever regret it? Coming to hell, I mean. Your previous life was heroic, meaningful. Here, you are fighting an uphill battle that might never succeed. Naruto thought about the question seriously. No. I do not regret it. My previous life was important, but it was also exhausting. Always fighting, always trying to protect everyone, always carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Here, I have found something different. What? Charlie asked. Choice, Naruto said simply. In my old life, I was the Hokage, the Jinchuriki, the prophesied child. I had roles and expectations that I could not escape. Here, I chose to help you. I chose to fight for redemption. Everything I do is my choice, not destiny or prophecy or duty. That freedom is worth more than I can express. Charlie turned to look at him, her eyes shining with emotion. You chose me. Chose to help me when you could have done anything else. I chose you, Naruto confirmed, cupping her face gently. Because you believe in impossible things and refuse to give up on people. Because you remind me of why I became a ninja in the first place, to protect people who could not protect themselves. Because you make me want to be better than I am. He kissed her, and she responded eagerly. What started as comfort transformed into something more passionate, weeks of suppressed feelings and stolen moments finally finding full expression. When they eventually separated, both breathing heavily, Charlie's smile was radiant. Stay with me tonight. Not, I mean, just stay. I do not want to be alone, and I do not think you should be either. Okay, Naruto agreed, his heart racing for entirely different reasons than anxiety about tomorrow's meeting. They settled into bed together, fully clothed but wrapped in each other's arms. The intimacy was not sexual but deeply emotional, two people finding comfort and strength in each other's presence. As sleep finally claimed them, Naruto's last conscious thought was gratitude. Whatever tomorrow brought, he had this moment, this connection, this person who understood him in ways no one ever had. Morning arrived far too quickly. Naruto woke to find Charlie already awake, watching him with a soft expression. Hi, she said quietly. Hi, Naruto replied, smiling despite his nervousness about the day ahead. They had breakfast with the others, everyone trying to act normal, while clearly aware of the significance of the upcoming meeting. Angel made jokes to lighten the mood. Husk offered unusually earnest advice about dealing with powerful beings. Even Nifty seemed subdued, her usual manic energy tempered by concern. Alastor pulled Naruto aside before he left. Remember, my boy, Lucifer respects strength, but he also respects cleverness. Do not just rely on your power. Use that surprisingly functional brain of yours. I will try, Naruto said. And Alastor, thank you. For everything you have done for the hotel and for me. The radio demon's expression flickered with something that might have been genuine emotion before his permanent grin reasserted itself. Do not get sentimental on me now. We have far too much chaos still to create together. Carmilla arrived to provide transportation, insisting that showing up in proper style mattered. The limousine she provided was elegant but not ostentatious, striking the right balance between respect and independence. During the ride, Carmilla offered her own advice. Lucifer will likely test you in some way. Not physically, that would be beneath him, but mentally or emotionally. He will want to see how you react under pressure, whether your ideals are genuine or just a facade. What if I fail his test? Naruto asked. Then he will probably kill you, Carmilla said bluntly. But I do not think that will happen. You have proven yourself too valuable, and Lucifer is pragmatic above all else. He will want to find a way to use your power and ideals for his own purposes. Your challenge is to let him think he is succeeding while actually maintaining your independence. That sounds exhausting, Naruto observed. Welcome to politics in hell, Carmilla replied with a slight smile. Every conversation is a chess game, and the penalty for losing is usually death. The palace looked even more imposing than Naruto remembered. The crystalline darkness of its walls seemed to pulse with power, and the air around it felt thick with ancient magic. Demons in elegant uniforms guided Naruto through the labyrinthine corridors, their expressions carefully neutral. This time, instead of being taken to the formal throne room, Naruto was led to what appeared to be a private study. The room was surprisingly cozy, with comfortable furniture, shelves lined with books that looked genuinely old, and windows that somehow showed views of places that were definitely not hell. Lucifer stood by one of these impossible windows, his back to the door, watching something Naruto could not quite see. He wore more casual attire than during their previous meeting, a simple red shirt and black pants, though his presence was no less imposing. Naruto Uzumaki, Lucifer said without turning. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Please, sit. Would you like anything to drink? I am fine, thank you, Naruto said, settling into an indicated chair. Lucifer finally turned, his expression unreadable. You are nervous. I can sense it. But you are hiding it well, maintaining composure despite knowing you are in the den of the devil himself. That takes courage or foolishness. Probably both, Naruto admitted, earning a slight smile from Lucifer. Honest too, Lucifer observed, settling into a chair across from Naruto. That is refreshing. Most demons who enter this room lie reflexively, telling me what they think I want to hear. You just tell the truth, consequences be damned. Lying has never been my strong suit, Naruto said. And I figure if you wanted me dead, you would not have gone through the trouble of this meeting. Logical, Lucifer agreed. So let us dispense with games and speak plainly. Your transformation, this fusion of demonic nature with something pure, it represents something I have not seen in all my eons of existence. You have created a genuine synthesis between corruption and redemption. Is that a bad thing? Naruto asked cautiously. That depends entirely on what you intend to do with it, Lucifer replied. You see, Naruto, hell exists on certain fundamental principles. Sin leads to damnation leads to eternal punishment, and that punishment maintains the cosmic balance. What you represent threatens that balance. He stood and began pacing, his movements fluid and graceful. If demons can genuinely change their nature, if they can become something other than corrupted souls, then the entire structure of reality shifts. Heaven and hell, the eternal conflict between good and evil, redemption and damnation, all of it becomes negotiable rather than fixed. And you think that is a problem, Naruto guessed. I think it is complicated, Lucifer corrected. As the king of hell, I have responsibilities. Maintaining order, managing the hierarchy of sins and punishments, ensuring that the damned receive what they earned. If redemption becomes real and accessible, all of that collapses. But as a father, Lucifer's expression softened slightly, I want my daughter to succeed. I want her dream to be possible. Charlie has more of her mother in her than she realizes, that stubborn belief that people can change, that love and compassion matter even in the darkest places. He turned to face Naruto directly. So here is my dilemma. As a king, I should see you as a threat and eliminate you. As a father, I should support you because you make Charlie happy and help her dream flourish. What would you do in my position? Naruto thought carefully before answering. I would remember that being a good father is more important than being a powerful king. Kingdoms rise and fall, power is temporary, but family is eternal. If supporting your daughter means changing the system you rule, then change the system. Lucifer laughed, the sound genuine and surprisingly warm. You make it sound so simple. Just upend the entire cosmic order for the sake of familial love. If only it were that easy. It is that simple, Naruto insisted. It is just not easy. The best things never are. You fell from heaven because you questioned the established order, because you thought there had to be a better way. Why not apply that same thinking now? Because my last rebellion led to the creation of hell and the damnation of billions of souls, Lucifer said, his expression turning dark. The consequences of my idealism were catastrophic. I learned to be more careful, more pragmatic. Change for its own sake is not always good. But staying the same when the system is broken is not good either, Naruto countered. Hell exists to punish sin, right? But if someone genuinely changes, if they become fundamentally different from who they were, is continuing to punish them justice or just cruelty? Lucifer was quiet for a long moment, studying Naruto with an intensity that was uncomfortable. You truly believe this, do not you? This is not political maneuvering or trying to tell me what I want to hear. You genuinely think redemption should be available to everyone. I know it should be, Naruto said firmly. I have seen it work. I have seen people who did terrible things find genuine change. Denying them that opportunity because of tradition or fear is wrong, regardless of what cosmic rules say. Lucifer sat back down, his expression thoughtful. Emily reported to Heaven about her visit to the hotel. She said the same thing you just did, that change is possible but incomplete. That seeds have been planted but have not yet borne fruit. Do you have access to Heaven's reports? Naruto asked, surprised. I have access to many things, Lucifer replied with a slight smile. Being the king of hell has certain privileges. But that is beside the point. Heaven is watching your hotel now, genuinely watching. If you can produce even one demon who achieves true redemption, who fundamentally changes their nature and earns passage to heaven, it will change everything. That is the goal, Naruto said. But it is also dangerous, Lucifer warned. Because if redemption becomes real, every power structure in hell will fight against it. The overlords will see their empires crumbling. The sins will lose their purpose. And I will lose my kingdom. He leaned forward, his gaze intense. So I need to know, Naruto Uzumaki. When the entire weight of hell turns against you, and it will, when the overlords unite to destroy the hotel, when the very foundations of this realm shake with opposition to what you represent, will you stand firm? Will you protect my daughter and her dream no matter the cost? Yes, Naruto answered without hesitation. I will protect Charlie and the hotel with everything I have. That is my promise, my ninja way. I never go back on my word. Lucifer studied him for another long moment, then nodded slowly. I believe you. And that terrifies and heartens me in equal measure. He stood and moved to a desk, opening a drawer and removing a small object. He returned and held it out to Naruto. A ring, simple in design but radiating subtle power. This is a ring of authority, Lucifer explained. It marks you as someone under my personal protection. No overlord can move against you directly without risking my wrath. It also grants you certain privileges, access to restricted areas, authority to speak on matters of Hell's governance, things that will help you protect the hotel. Naruto took the ring carefully, feeling its weight both physical and symbolic. Why? Why give me this? Because my daughter loves you, Lucifer said simply. I saw how she looked at you during the council meeting, and I have heard reports of your relationship. Charlie has never let anyone get close before. Her position, her nature, always created distance. But she trusts you completely. He turned away, looking out the impossible window again. I have made many mistakes as a father. I have been distant, disapproving, focused on kingdom rather than family. I will not make the mistake of standing between my daughter and someone who makes her happy. Plus, Lucifer added, his tone becoming more businesslike, you are valuable. That transformation you achieved, it is unprecedented. Having you allied with the crown rather than in opposition to it is strategically sound. So this is both personal and political, Naruto observed, slipping the ring onto his finger. It adjusted itself automatically, fitting perfectly. Everything in hell is both personal and political, Lucifer replied. You will learn that eventually. He turned back to face Naruto, his expression becoming more serious. Now, there is another matter I need to discuss with you. Something that may affect your relationship with Charlie and the hotel's future. What? Naruto asked, suddenly wary. Lilith, my wife and Charlie's mother, has been absent from Hell for several years. She left on what was supposed to be a diplomatic mission to Earth, but she never returned. I have had my agent searching, but there have been no confirmed sightings or communications. You think something happened to her, Naruto said. I think she chose to leave, Lucifer admitted, pain flickering across his features. Our marriage had been strained for centuries, disagreements about how to rule Hell, about whether change was possible or desirable. When she left, part of me wondered if she would come back at all. Does Charlie know? Naruto asked. She knows her mother is absent, but not that it might be permanent. I have been protecting her from that possibility, letting her believe Lilith is simply busy with important work. Lucifer met Naruto's gaze directly. But if redemption becomes real, if the hotel succeeds, Lilith will hear about it. And she might return. You need to understand that my wife, for all her kindness and beauty, is also one of the most powerful beings in Hell. If she decides the hotel is a threat or that Charlie's dream is dangerous, she could destroy everything you have built. Then I will protect it from her too if necessary, Naruto said firmly. Though I hope it does not come to that. As do I, Lucifer agreed. Lilith and I may have our differences, but I still love her. And she loves Charlie deeply. I am hoping that love will outweigh any political concerns. The conversation shifted to more practical matters after that. Lucifer provided Naruto with detailed intelligence about Overlord movements and potential threats. He offered resources, magical protections for the hotel, and access to Hell's extensive archives if Naruto needed information. But underlying all of it was an unspoken understanding. Lucifer was investing in Naruto and the hotel, gambling that redemption might actually be possible. And in return, Naruto was accepting responsibility not just for protecting Charlie and the residents, but for potentially reshaping Hell's entire structure. It was a heavy burden, but Naruto had carried heavy burdens before. The weight was familiar, almost comforting in its way. As the meeting wound down and Naruto prepared to leave, Lucifer stopped him with a final question. Naruto, do you believe in God? The capital G version, the creator of everything. Naruto thought about it carefully. I do not know. In my world, there were beings we considered gods, but they were really just very powerful entities. Whether there is something beyond even them, some ultimate creator, I have no idea. But, Naruto continued, if such a being exists, I think they would want people to have second chances. What kind of creator would doom their creations to eternal suffering without possibility of redemption? That seems cruel in a way that contradicts the whole idea of divine love. Lucifer's smile was sad. That is what I used to think too, before I fell. I questioned God's justice, argued that humans deserved more freedom and choice. And I was cast out for it, made into a monster and given dominion over all the damned souls. He looked away, old pain evident in his expression. But maybe I was not entirely wrong. Maybe God does want redemption to be possible, and I was just too angry and hurt to see it. Maybe you are here, with your impossible power and stubborn ideals, because someone up there decided it was time for Hell to change. Or maybe I am just lucky, Naruto suggested. Right place, right time, right person to help. Perhaps, Lucifer agreed. But luck has a way of looking like destiny in hindsight. Naruto left the palace with his mind spinning. The meeting had gone better than he had hoped, but it also revealed complications he had not anticipated. Lilith's absence, Heaven's increased scrutiny, Lucifer's own conflicted feelings about redemption and change, all of it added layers of complexity to an already difficult situation. The ring of authority on his finger felt heavy, a constant reminder of the responsibility he had accepted. He was not just Charlie's partner or the hotel's protector anymore. He was now officially connected to Hell's throne, marked as someone under the king's personal protection and favor. That would change how others saw him, how they interacted with him. Some would respect the ring's authority. Others would see it as a challenge, proof that Naruto was becoming too powerful and needed to be brought down. Carmilla was waiting with a limousine, her expression curious. Well, how did it go? Better than expected, Naruto admitted, settling into the comfortable seats. Lucifer is not our enemy. He is complicated, caught between being a king and being a father, but he wants the hotel to succeed. He showed her the ring, and Carmilla's eyes widened. That is significant. Rings of authority are not given lightly. Lucifer is making a statement by giving you that. What kind of statement? Naruto asked. That you are untouchable by normal means, Carmilla explained. That attacking you means attacking him. Every overlord in hell will see that ring and understand what it means. You have just become one of the most politically protected individuals in the Pride Ring. But also a bigger target, Naruto guessed. Everything is a trade-off in hell, Carmilla agreed. The ride back to the hotel took nearly an hour, giving Naruto time to process everything. By the time they arrived, he felt exhausted on every level, the emotional and mental strain of the meeting catching up with him. The hotel exploded with activity when he entered. Charlie rushed to him immediately, her expression anxious. What happened? Are you okay? Did my father threaten you? I am fine, Naruto assured her, hugging her tightly. Your father was actually supportive. He gave me this. He showed her the ring, and Charlie's eyes filled with tears. He gave you a ring of authority. Oh Naruto, do you understand what this means? My father is publicly supporting you, supporting us. I know, Naruto said softly. He also told me about your mother, about how she might return if redemption becomes real. Charlie's expression became complicated, joy at her father's support, mixing with worry about her mother's reaction. We will deal with that if it happens. For now, let us just be grateful that we have the King of Hell on our side. The rest of the day was spent sharing the meeting's details with the core group. Alastor was particularly interested in the political implications, already calculating how to leverage Lucifer's support. Vaggie was relieved that one major threat had been neutralized, though she remained wary of potential betrayal. That evening, Naruto found himself back on the roof with Charlie, watching Hell's twisted sunset paint the sky in deeper shades of red. The day was important, Charlie said quietly. Not just politically, but personally. My father has never approved of anyone I cared about before. The fact that he trusts you enough to give you that ring, it means everything to me. It means everything to me too, Naruto replied. But Charlie, you need to know that accepting this ring comes with responsibilities. I am not just your partner anymore. I am officially connected to Hell's throne now. That is going to change things. I know, Charlie said. And I am not scared of it. If anything, it makes me more confident that we can succeed. With you protecting the hotel and my father supporting us politically, we have a real chance. She turned to face him, her expression serious. Naruto, I need to tell you something. I love you. I have been falling in love with you since almost the beginning, since you first defended the hotel without asking for anything in return. I need you to know that before things get more complicated. Naruto felt his heart swell with emotion. I love you too, Charlie. You have given me purpose in hell, shown me that even in the darkest place imaginable, hope and kindness matter. I did not think I would ever feel this way again after death, but you proved me wrong. They kissed, and it felt like a promise. Whatever came next, whatever challenges hell threw at them, they would face it together. As the stars began emerging in Hell's crimson sky, Naruto reflected on how much had changed in just 4 months. He had arrived in Hell lost and confused, a warrior without a war. Now he had a home, a family, a purpose, and someone he loved. The road ahead would be difficult. The V's were still plotting. Other overlords would challenge his authority. Heaven was watching, waiting for proof that redemption was real. And somewhere out there, Lilith might be preparing to return and judge whether her daughter's dream was worth supporting or destroying. But Naruto had faced impossible odds before. He had saved his world from gods and monsters, had brought peace to endless conflict, had died and been reborn without losing himself. He could do this. They could do this. Together. His ninja way had followed him even into death, and it was going to change hell itself. One impossible dream at a time. And nothing, not overlords or demons or even the king of hell himself, was going to make him give up. The story of Naruto Uzumaki, the golden demon who refused to be corrupted, was just beginning. And hell would never be the same. The week following Naruto's meeting with Lucifer brought unexpected stability to the Hazbin Hotel. The ring of authority on his finger seemed to radiate an invisible warning to potential troublemakers, and for the first time since the hotel's founding, they experienced genuine peace. No attacks, no infiltration attempts, not even harassment from lower-level demons looking to make a name for themselves. But Naruto knew better than to trust in peace that felt too convenient. He had been a ninja long enough to recognize the calm before the storm, the deceptive quiet that preceded major conflicts. So while others relaxed into the routine, Naruto increased his training intensity, pushing his new transformation to its limits. Early mornings found him on the roof, cycling through his various forms and techniques. His basic demon sage mode had become second nature, activating and deactivating with barely a thought. But the full fusion with Kurama's essence, the form that had impressed even Lucifer, that still required concentration and effort. "You are overtraining," a familiar voice observed. Naruto turned to find Vaggie standing at the roof access, her spear casually resting on her shoulder. The former exorcist had been watching him train more frequently lately, offering tactical advice and occasionally sparring with him to test his defenses. "Probably," Naruto admitted, releasing his transformation and catching his breath. "But I cannot shake the feeling that something big is coming. The V's have been too quiet since the council meeting." Vaggie moved to stand beside him, looking out over Pentagram City as it slowly came to life. "You are right to be paranoid. Valentino does not forgive or forget, and Vox has been suspiciously absent from his usual broadcasts. They are planning something." "Any intel from your contacts?" Naruto asked. Vaggie hesitated, clearly weighing how much to share. "Some. There are rumors of a major gathering being organized, something involving multiple overlords who opposed the hotel at the council meeting. But details are scarce. Either it is a very well-kept secret or it is misinformation designed to make us paranoid. Or both," Naruto suggested. "Keep us off balance while they prepare the real attack." Their conversation was interrupted by Miss Benches's voice crackling through the hotel's intercom system. "Attention all residents. We have incoming visitors. Multiple signatures approaching from the sky. They are not hostile, repeat, not hostile. Angelic signatures detected." Naruto and Vaggie exchanged glances before rushing downstairs. The lobby was already filling with residents, all staring at the front windows where golden light was beginning to pierce through hell's usual crimson haze. Charlie stood at the entrance, her expression a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "It is heaven. An official delegation this time, not just Emily. This is huge." "How many?" Naruto asked, moving to stand protectively beside her. 3 signatures, Miss Benches reported from her monitoring station. "One is definitely Emily based on the energy pattern. The other 2 are unknown but powerful. Very powerful." The sky above the hotel split open with blinding light, more dramatic than Emily's previous arrival. 3 figures descended through the portal, their angelic forms radiant and imposing. Emily led the way, her 6 wings spread wide, but she was flanked by 2 angels Naruto had not seen before. The first was male, tall and imposing, with features that suggested both beauty and terrible authority. He had 8 wings of gleaming silver, wore armor that seemed to be crafted from solidified light, and carried a sword that radiated holy power. His very presence made the air feel thin, hard to breathe. The second angel was female, smaller than her companion but no less powerful. She had features that reminded Naruto of a scholar, with intelligent eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses and an expression of intense curiosity. Her 6 wings were a soft blue, and she carried what looked like an ancient book bound in white leather. They landed gracefully in front of the hotel, and Naruto immediately felt the difference in power levels. Emily had been impressive, but these 2 were on an entirely different scale. This was heaven's serious response, not just curious observation. "Princess Charlotte," Emily said warmly, though Naruto could hear tension beneath her greeting. "Thank you for receiving us on short notice. May I introduce Seraphim Michael, Heaven's Supreme Commander, and Seraphim Uriel, Keeper of Divine Knowledge." Michael's gaze swept over the assembled demons with the coldness of a professional evaluating potential threats. "Princess Naruto Uzumaki. We have come to conduct a formal assessment of your redemption project." His voice carried weight, each word seeming to resonate with divine authority. "Heaven has been patient, allowing this experiment to continue despite significant opposition from our own council. But patience has limits. Today, we determine whether redemption is genuinely possible or merely a naive fantasy." Uriel stepped forward, her expression more gentle than Michael's but no less serious. "We will be conducting interviews with your residents, observing your methods, and most importantly, testing whether any genuine spiritual transformation has occurred. This is not meant to be adversarial, but we must be thorough." Charlie squared her shoulders, her own demonic nature rising to meet the challenge. "We welcome your assessment. We have nothing to hide. Our residents have been making genuine progress, and we are confident you will see that." "Confident words," Michael observed. "We shall see if they are justified. Shall we begin?" What followed was the most intense scrutiny the hotel had ever experienced. Michael and Uriel split up, each conducting separate interviews with residents, while Emily observed and occasionally offered context. The angels were thorough to the point of being invasive, asking questions that probed not just behaviors but motivations, emotions, and the fundamental nature of each demon's soul. Naruto watched Michael interview Marcus, the former murderer who now counseled others. The angels' questions were pointed and unrelenting, designed to find any hint of deception or shallow change. "You claim to feel remorse for your crime," Michael stated, his tone clinical. "But remorse is an emotion, easily manufactured. What evidence can you provide that your nature has fundamentally changed?" Marcus met the angel's gaze steadily, despite clearly being terrified. "I cannot provide evidence that would satisfy you. I can only tell you what I feel and what I do. Every day, I wake up seeing the face of the man I killed. Every day, I choose to help others avoid making my mistakes. That is all I can offer." Words, Michael dismissed. Demons are skilled at saying what others want to hear. "I need to see your soul, examine whether corruption has genuinely been reduced or simply masked." What happened next made Naruto step forward instinctively, though Charlie grabbed his arm to stop him. Michael placed his hand on Marcus's forehead, and golden light erupted between them. Marcus screamed, his entire body convulsing as the angel's power penetrated deep into his essence. "Stop," Charlie shouted. "You are hurting him." "I am examining him," Michael replied without removing his hand. "Determining whether redemption has occurred requires seeing the soul in its purest form. This is necessary." The examination lasted nearly a minute, Marcus's screams gradually fading to whimpers. When Michael finally released him, the demon collapsed, gasping for breath. The angel's expression was thoughtful but not hostile. "Interesting," Michael murmured. "There is genuine change here. The corruption of sin has been reduced, though not eliminated. This one is perhaps 20% redeemed. Not enough for passage to heaven, but significant progress nonetheless." He moved on to the next resident, leaving Marcus trembling on the floor. Naruto helped the demon to a chair, anger burning in his chest. "That was cruel," Naruto said quietly to Charlie. "There had to be a less painful way to examine him." "Maybe," Charlie replied, though her own expression was troubled. "But Michael is following heaven's protocols. If we want them to take redemption seriously, we have to let them conduct their assessment their way." Meanwhile, Uriel's interviews were less physically invasive but no less intense. She spoke with Angel Dust for nearly an hour, discussing his addiction, his relationship with Valentino, and his reasons for seeking redemption. "You claim to want freedom from your contract and your lifestyle," Uriel said, making notes in her massive book. "But you continue working for Valentino, continue engaging in the behaviors that defined your sinful life. How is this redemption?" Angel's usual flippant demeanor was completely absent, replaced with raw honesty. "Because I do not have a choice about the work. Valentino owns my soul, literally. But I have a choice about how I think about it, about who I am when I am not working. And I am choosing to be better than I was." Uriel studied him for a long moment. "You understand that heaven's definition of redemption requires not just behavioral change, but fundamental transformation of the soul. Your contract with Valentino, the nature of your work, it continues to corrupt you even as you try to improve. That creates a paradox." "Then help me break the contract," Angel said desperately. "If heaven is so concerned about redemption, help me escape the thing preventing it." "That is not within our authority," Uriel said, though her expression showed sympathy. "Demonic contracts are binding, governed by hell's laws. We cannot simply invalidate them. You must find redemption within the constraints of your situation or find a way to break the contract yourself." The interviews continued throughout the day, each resident subjected to intense scrutiny. Some handled it well, demonstrating genuine growth and change. Others struggled, their progress less apparent under heaven's unforgiving examination. Naruto's turn came in the late afternoon. Michael personally conducted the interview, his expression suggesting this was the assessment he was most interested in. "Naruto Uzumaki," Michael began, settling into a chair across from him. "You are an anomaly. A soul that should not exist, a demon that acts like a hero. Heaven's records show you died in another reality entirely. How did you end up in our hell?" "I do not know," Naruto admitted honestly. "There was a portal, some kind of tear in reality during my final battle. It pulled me through, and when I woke up, I was here. Reborn as a demon but still myself." "Still yourself," Michael repeated skeptically. "Yet you possess demonic power, have integrated hell's corruption into your very essence. How can you claim to still be yourself when your fundamental nature has changed?" "Because my core has not changed," Naruto insisted. "My power is different, yes. My body is different. But my beliefs, my determination to protect people, my refusal to give up on anyone, those are the same. Those define who I am, not what kind of energy flows through me." Michael's expression was unreadable. "I examined your soul while you were not paying attention, during the interviews with the other residents. Do not look so surprised, I am quite skilled at subtle observation. What I found was remarkable and deeply troubling. He leaned forward, his gaze intense. Your soul is fractured, Naruto Uzumaki. Split between demonic corruption and something else, something pure that should not exist in hell. That purity is what allows you to maintain your heroic nature. But it also makes you unstable, dangerous. At any moment, you could tip fully into corruption or somehow transcend it entirely. You are a wild card in a cosmic game that cannot afford unpredictability. So what are you saying? Naruto asked carefully. That I am a threat that needs to be eliminated. I am saying you represent a possibility we have never encountered before, Michael replied. Genuine fusion between redemption and damnation, existing simultaneously in a single being. If you can maintain that balance, if you can prove it is stable, you might be the key to making redemption accessible to all demons. But, the angel's expression hardened, if you lose that balance, if the corruption wins, you will become one of the most dangerous beings in hell. More powerful than most overlords, with knowledge and abilities that should not exist here. That is a risk heaven cannot ignore. Are you threatening me? Naruto asked, his own power beginning to flare instinctively. I am stating facts, Michael said calmly. Whether those facts become a threat depends entirely on your choices going forward. Maintain your balance, continue protecting Princess Charlotte and her dream, and heaven will consider you an ally. Fall to corruption, and we will be forced to intervene. The interview concluded shortly after, leaving Naruto unsettled. Michael's assessment had been fair but chilling, laying out exactly how precarious his situation was. He was walking a tightrope between redemption and damnation, and any misstep could have catastrophic consequences. That evening, after the angels had completed their initial assessments and retired to guest rooms Charlie had hastily prepared, the hotel's core group gathered to discuss the day's events. That was brutal, Angel said, still looking shaken from his interview. I have been through some shit in my afterlife, but having an angel examine your soul, that is on another level entirely. Michael is thorough, Vaggie agreed. I remember assessments like that from my time as an exorcist. Heaven does not do anything halfway. What was your time as an exorcist like? Naruto asked, realizing he had never heard the full story. Vaggie's expression became guarded. That is a long story for another time. Right now, we need to focus on making sure tomorrow's assessments go better. Michael and Uriel are looking for any excuse to declare redemption impossible. We cannot give them ammunition. Charlie had been quiet, clearly processing everything. Do you think we passed? Today, I mean. Did we show enough progress? Alastor, who had been observing from the shadows as usual, finally spoke up. My dear princess, I do not think passing or failing is the right framework. What happened today was not a test but reconnaissance. Heaven is gathering information to decide how to respond to the threat you represent. We are not a threat, Charlie protested. We are trying to help people. You are a threat to the established order, Alastor corrected gently. To heaven's monopoly on salvation, to hell's power structures, to the very concept of eternal damnation. That makes you dangerous regardless of your intentions. The next day brought more assessments, but these focused less on individual residents and more on the hotel's methods and systems. Uriel spent hours reviewing Charlie's redemption curriculum, making detailed notes and asking probing questions about theoretical foundations. Their approach is interesting, Uriel observed, flipping through Charlie's carefully prepared materials. You combine elements of therapy, moral education, and community building. But you are missing something crucial. What? Charlie asked, leaning forward eagerly. Divine grace, Uriel said simply. Redemption as heaven understands it is not something that can be earned through effort alone. It requires grace, a gift freely given by the divine. Without that element, you are merely teaching demons to behave better, not actually transforming their fundamental nature. But how do we provide divine grace in hell? Charlie asked, frustration creeping into her voice. We do not have access to heaven's power or authority. We are working with what we have. That is the central paradox, Uriel agreed. Which is why redemption from hell has always been considered impossible. You are trying to achieve transformation without the necessary spiritual component. Then maybe the definition needs to change, Naruto interjected. Maybe redemption does not require divine grace. Maybe it is possible through genuine choice and effort alone. Uriel's expression was pitying. That is a noble thought but theologically unsound. Sin corrupts the soul at a fundamental level. Removing that corruption requires power that demons simply do not possess. It is like trying to clean yourself while standing in mud. The environment itself prevents genuine purification. Unless the environment changes, Naruto countered. Unless hell itself can be transformed into a place of rehabilitation rather than just punishment. Now you are talking about restructuring reality itself, Uriel said. That is far beyond what even the most powerful beings can accomplish. Only the creator could make such fundamental changes. The theological debates continued for hours, Charlie and Uriel going back and forth about the nature of sin, redemption, and divine justice. Naruto found himself impressed by Charlie's depth of knowledge and her ability to argue her position coherently, even when facing an ancient angel. Michael, meanwhile, focused his attention on the hotel's defenses and Naruto's capabilities. He requested a demonstration of Naruto's full power, curious about the transformation that had impressed even Lucifer. They gathered in the reinforced training area, all the residents watching from safe distances as Naruto prepared to demonstrate. Charlie stood close by, ready to intervene if anything went wrong. "Show me this fusion everyone talks about," Michael commanded. "This combination of demonic power and something pure." Naruto closed his eyes, centering himself. He reached deep inside, finding that reservoir of power that represented his bond with Kurama, his ninja heritage, and his demonic nature all merged together. The transformation began gradually, golden light mixing with crimson energy. His appearance shifted, becoming more feral but somehow noble at the same time. The 9 tails of chakra manifested behind him, each one swirling with power that made the air shimmer. When Naruto opened his eyes, they glowed with combined light, gold and red perfectly balanced. His voice carried that harmonic quality, 2 beings speaking in perfect unison. "This is what I am. Not demon, not ninja, not human. Something new. Something hell has never seen before." Michael observed the transformation with intense focus, his hand on his sword, though he made no move to draw it. "Remarkable. You have achieved genuine synthesis. The corruption and the purity exist in perfect balance, neither dominating the other." He walked around Naruto slowly, examining from every angle. "This should not be possible. By every theological principle I know, the corruption should have consumed the purity or been purged by it. But instead, they coexist. How? I do not know," Naruto admitted. "It just felt right. When I stopped fighting against my demonic nature and instead accepted it as part of who I am now, the fusion happened naturally." "Acceptance," Michael murmured. "Not resistance or domination but acceptance. That is a fundamentally different approach than Heaven's usual methodology." He stepped back, his expression thoughtful. "Naruto Uzumaki, you may have accomplished something more significant than you realize. You have demonstrated that corruption and purity can coexist, that transformation is possible without completely destroying what came before. If that principle can be applied more broadly, if other demons can achieve similar balance, redemption might actually be accessible." But Michael's expression hardened again, "That is a very big if. You are unique in ways that may not be replicable. Until we see another demon achieve similar transformation, you remain an anomaly rather than proof of concept." The assessment continued into a 3rd day, with Michael and Uriel conducting more interviews and observations. But the tone had shifted slightly. Instead of looking for reasons to declare redemption impossible, the angels seemed genuinely curious about whether it might work. On the final evening before their scheduled departure, Emily requested a private meeting with Naruto and Charlie. They gathered in Charlie's office, the young seraphim looking unusually serious. "I need to tell you both something that Michael and Uriel do not know I am sharing," Emily began. "Heaven's council is deeply divided about the redemption question. About a third genuinely want it to be possible and are rooting for you to succeed. Another third are absolutely opposed, seeing it as a threat to cosmic order. The final third are waiting to see proof before committing either way." "What does that mean for us?" Charlie asked. "It means you are walking a tightrope," Emily explained. "If you can produce even one demon who achieves genuine redemption, who fundamentally transforms their soul and earns passage to heaven, the supportive third will have the ammunition they need to push for policy changes. But if you fail, if your project collapses or produces no real results, the opposition will use it as proof that redemption is impossible and push to shut down all similar efforts permanently." "No pressure then," Naruto said dryly. Emily's expression was sympathetic. "I know this is a heavy burden. But you need to understand the stakes. This is not just about your hotel or even hell itself. This is about challenging fundamental assumptions about sin, punishment, and divine justice. If you succeed, you change everything. If you fail, you might make things worse by proving the opposition right." "We will succeed," Charlie said with determination. "We have to. Too many people are counting on us." The angels departed the next morning with a formal statement that would be delivered to both heaven and hell's councils. Michael and Uriel promised to report fairly on what they had observed, neither endorsing nor condemning the hotel's efforts, but acknowledging that genuine progress was being made. As the golden portal closed behind them, Naruto felt exhausted on every level. The past 3 days had been more draining than any physical battle, the constant scrutiny and theological debates taking their toll. Charlie leaned against him, clearly feeling similar exhaustion. "We survived another test. That has to count for something." "It counts for a lot," Naruto agreed. But Emily was right. "We need to produce actual results. We need someone to achieve full redemption, not just improvement but genuine transformation." Charlie asked. "Which of our residents is closest to that level of change?" Before Naruto could answer, the hotel's alarms began blaring. Miss Benches's voice came through the intercom, urgent and frightened. Multiple signatures incoming. Dozens of them. This is not a drill. We are under attack. Naruto and Charlie rushed to the windows, and Naruto's heart sank at what he saw. Approaching from multiple directions were groups of demons, all heavily armed and moving with military precision. At their head were several overlords, including all three of the V's. But what made Naruto's blood run cold was the figure leading the entire force. Tall and imposing, radiating power that rivaled Lucifer himself, was a female demon Naruto had never seen before. She had features that mixed beauty and terrible authority, wings of dark purple spread wide, and eyes that burned with primordial fire. "Who is that?" Naruto asked, though dread was already forming in his gut. Charlie's voice was small, terrified in a way Naruto had never heard before. "That is my mother. Lilith has returned." And she did not look happy. The war Lucifer had warned about was here, but it was not the overlords Naruto needed to worry about. It was the Queen of Hell herself. And she had brought an army to tear down everything they had built. Thanks for watching my video, and have a lovely day. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.